Good afternoon, slightly earlier than normal, isn't it? But nonetheless, we are ready to go for what should be the return to winning ways for Pompey as we travel to the railway town of CREWE, specifically Gresty Road in Cheshire for what is one of only 3 midweek games of the season left in this year's campaign. Pompey are currently 5th in League One, level on points with Blackpool, who had to settle for a 2-2 draw on Saturday against Lincoln, who are directly below us in the table. The 2 top teams are not in action this evening. Sunderland travel to the DW Stadium looking to gain some ground on those automatic spaces. After tonight, it will be a 6-game sprint to the finish line. CREWE ALEXANDRA versus Portsmouth is our focus, and kickoff is now under an hour away. Yeah, really nice to have your company this evening, everyone. Thank you for being with us live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. We're ready to go, and the breaking news that I can bring you is that we've got some team news for you. It is Johnny Marquis who's back in the side. It's your starting 11, which has 2 changes to it. It's Craig McGilvery, Callum Johnson, Jack Watmore, Sean Raggett, Charlie Daniels, who takes Lee Brown's place after he sustained a bit of a hamstring knock during the weekend's game. Tom Naylor, Ben Close, Marcus Harness, Ryan Williams, Ronan Curtis, and Johnny Marquis back in the starting 11. And that is excellent news. Let us know how you're feeling about that team news in the comment section down below. Oakley said, good afternoon, Tom. I think it'll be a 3-1 Pompey win. Come on, the Blues. Thank you for that, Oakley. Appreciate it, mate. And thanks for being in with us here on Fournilwrittenalloverit this evening. Jack, mate, thanks for sticking with us. Lovely to see you. Bournemouth doing all right, aren't they? Noel has said, we're talking about Noel's legs, I think, before we got going in the stream. Moo Army from Abbey. I know you've had a haircut. You need to get a refund. Cheers, mate. I actually think he's done a decent job, Mark. So appreciate that. Fresh, yeah, it really brings out the old... What's it, doesn't it? It brings out the facial hair. Luke's liking the fresh trim. And we've now all got Barnett's trimmed, which is good news. Jake on Facebook said, I really want to see Stanley tonight, Tom, at some point. Don't think we should be risking John too much, to be honest. And Jake, we might see him come on and replace him perhaps after 60 minutes. We don't know, do we, at the moment? We'll have to wait and see, which is good. Well, I'm glad everyone is doing really well. It's lovely to see you all. It's brilliant to be back live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. We've got a bumper hour here for you on the show over the next we've got a next hour of build-up for you, which is something to be really excited about. We're looking forward to bringing you that here on the show. Sam's going to make an appearance with us at about 5:30. We've also got a couple of videos for you to watch as well. I hope you sit back, relax, and enjoy those. Where are the highlights of Promised, Alex? That was some time ago, mate, wasn't it? Some time ago. Hello to Noel. Good morning and afternoon. Tom Working, Hollywood. Wonderful. Thanks for joining us, Noel. Great to see you. Josh has said a good team, strong attacking lineup. Hopefully they can find the final third get going. Yeah, hopefully 4 goals as well. Hello to Ashley, who's a CREWE fan. Good luck straight back at you, mate. Thanks for jumping in the stream. And Kian saying a 6-0 Marquis hat-trick incoming. Charlie is starting, mate. He's in the starting 11 tonight. So hopefully we get to see some magic from the man who used to play for the Cherries here. And then we will give you every second of the action. I'll be describing it to you. Andrew will join us later on the stream as well. Before we get going with tonight's episode, I thought we'd take a little look back at the last time we watched a CREWE game here live on not live, but here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. It was the 4-1 win in November. Before that, we hadn't played them for quite a few years. This video is 4 years old. Little trip down memory lane. Hope you enjoy it as much as I did watching it back.
Mate, very good afternoon to everyone in the car. How are we doing, guys? We all right?
Good, yeah.
Good. You excited for today's game, Alex? On the negative.
Really excited.
You sound it.
He looks it.
He looks it, doesn't he?
He looks it, yeah.
You all right, mate? What are we reckoning?
I'm fine, mate. Yeah, I've got to forget about Tuesday night, so I'm going to move straight on to 4-0 today.
Straight on to 4-0? Is that what we reckon?
Yeah, yeah.
Should we get some music on?
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
How's it going, Al? All right, mate. Going down to watch us some batter CREWE today. But do you mind, mate? We've got our timing all wrong, and we're coming up to my tunnel. We're in the tunnel, and we've got our car back. So that's great news, mate.
Yeah, what was up with it?
Gators, mate.
Gators.
Yeah, I had a load of gators put on it. I don't know, 300 quid worth of gators. Anyway, we've got an MOT now. We're back in our car, zooming down to watch the mighty Pompey. Great game the other day. We were actually at the Morecambe game. Didn't record anything because we all got stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
But well, I thought we absolutely battered Morecambe.
Oh yeah. Anyone who booed after, I couldn't believe that. I thought Portsmouth played really well. Should have been 5-0 up at half time.
Yeah.
They just blocked everything.
Yeah, they were blocking everything, and I hadn't realised Morecambe had gone so long without being beaten.
We had 26 shots in the end. So
26 shots. And the thing is, I don't think we can blame any one of our strikers, because I think everyone in our team had a shot, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all having a shot.
Well, Smith would have put one of them in.
Well, yeah, I reckon Smith would have had a couple there, don't you?
Definitely.
Anyway, we're out the tunnel. What do you reckon about today's game, Sam?
I think Portsmouth need to start taking advantage of games like this. CREWE are not a very good team, near the bottom.
Okay.
Got beaten 4-0 in the week. You know, Portsmouth have to take advantage and they have to win this.
And where could we go today? If Carlisle,
if Carlisle draw, we go third if we win.
Oh, mate,
So
can you imagine that?
we need to, and we got a game in hand. So
And we got the game in hand on Tuesday.
We need to take advantage of this
All
and get the win.
Get the win. Let's get to the Toby.
Yeah.
Here we go. Intro, take one.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. After 5 unbeaten games, Pompey are back on track for that all-important third place position. A strong away surge and a helpful home history will help Pompey in their plight for promotion this season, as well as today against CREWE. This is Fournilwritten all over it. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fournilwritten all over it. This afternoon broadcast to you back from the Toby Carvery LZ Portsmouth
Studio 1.
Studio 1, we're in the posh seats, aren't we, today? In the booth. And head of today's game, Portsmouth versus CREWE Alexandra. So then, team of the week this week, mate.
Team of the week, mate. It's got to be Manchester United, hasn't it?
Why is that? Why are we giving it to Manchester United?
I don't know really, mate. I think they deserve it. And Zlatan the man. Zlatan.
Can't remember who scored again.
No, I can't remember. No.
I can't remember who scored. Doesn't matter who he scored against. He scored.
It was a really good goal.
It's a really good goal.
And a winning goal.
And the winning goal,
Yeah.
crucially winning.
We love it when that happens, don't we?
We do love it when that happens, especially when Zlatan scores.
Zlatan.
Over to Alan for our second team of the week.
Okay, as another team of the week, as sent in by Sarah Powers. Local team, it's Denmead under 13s, just up the road in Waterloo, Bill. They beat the wonderfully named Mean Milton Primus in a nail biter last Sunday. It was quite significant because apparently they were 2 goals down and they romped to a 4-3 victory, and they've lost to this team 2 or 3 times in the past, so they're obviously making a bit of headway down there. The division they play in, they've got some lovely names. They've got the Denmead Youth, obviously Fleur de Lis Warriors, Mean Milton and the Hailing Andrews White team all play in the same division, so good luck to them. And I say they're 4th in the division now, so hope the season progresses well, lads.
Take 9, Lent. Let's go.
What have you given up for Lent, Tom?
I've given up feeling unwell for Lent, Alexandra, the negative.
Andrew?
I've given up sitting next to Sam.
Sam?
Women. I've given up on that.
Al?
Trains.
Caroline?
Chocolate and cake.
And I've given up on crisps and I'm negative about it.
So Alexandra the negative and Caroline, welcome to the studio in the Toby Carvery. And what are our expectations for the rest of this season?
Feeling quite positive, Tom. I think Plymouth and Carlisle today, they're going to hopefully draw, and then if we win, we go third, which is fantastic. That's automatic promotion. We need to put a good run together between now and the end of the season. How many games left?
Like 15.
15, so there's quite a lot of games left. I think if we can win 8 or 9 of them, draw a few, we should be up there. We should be into League One.
Guys, have you come down from CREWE today?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What time did you set off?
Half past 7.
Yeah. Oh, well, fair play to you. It's a fair old trip. Have you been here before?
Plenty times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chance, yeah.
Oh, so and what about the score? What you hope for? 0-0.
Well,
0-0.
we'll set word you are,
It's a
yeah.
long way to come for 0-0, isn't it?
I'd be happy.
No,
The way we're playing.
We'll set word you are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, you have a great game.
Thank you.
And fair play. We went up to Carlisle the other week, so we know what it's like.
Right,
It's
yeah.
Good old night. Have a great game.
Right.
Cheers,
Right,
thanks.
We're from Fournilwritten all over it. Have you come down today?
I live in Swindon, I'm an exile, but I'm a massive CREWE fan. Been a CREWE fan since I was 6.
What, both of you?
He's a neutral. He's a neutral.
Oh, neutral. And what sort of score are you hoping for?
Well, I'm hoping we actually score a game today. So scoring the game because we've lost our best striker. We got sent off about.
Well, that's
last
Andy.
week
That's
against
Andy.
Leeds.
That's Andy for us.
And our next best striker has been absolutely fantastic since we signed him from Orient. But unfortunately, he just can't hit the target at the moment. He's in
Oh,
the
well,
bar,
let's hope the
his
same
post.
thing happens today.
Let's hope not, mate. Let's hope not.
Listen,
luckily, short trip to Swindon after this anyway.
yeah,
so
it's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Listen, have a great game. Come down from Crewe today.
Well, travelled down yesterday. Travelled down yesterday to come and see us because I live down this way. So
Oh, brilliant. Have you been here before?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No,
Score?
we don't get- we don't
What
get-
do you reckon the score's going to be? Crucially,
Crucially, what? 5-1?
what to us?
No, absolute to Portsmouth. Yeah, no chance.
You've been down the pub.
No. I've been down the realistic stand. We're going to get hammered, and then we might go to the pub.
That's more like it.
It's going to be
I
horrendous.
reckon 2-1 Alex. Got a sneaky feeling. But I hope. But I hope.
Let's hope you're wrong. Cheers.
Half-time at Fratton Park, mate. It is 0-0. What are your thoughts?
A lot of negative energy. I'm not happy with it, mate. But it's to take a chill pill. 0-0. We just missed a bit of a link between the midfield and the strikers. Created some good chances. They haven't really had a shot. So we should take our time, win the game, get up to third.
Do you not think it's a little bit boring when we're just like messing about with it in midfield?
I think people just need to stop moaning about it. We're in League 2 at the end of the day. We're employing Premier League players, are we? They're paying 30 grand a week. So they just need to get up for a little bit more, keep going, and hopefully bring it around at the end of the game.
Okay. But that doesn't mean we should just mess about with it in midfield, though, does it? Like, no one, like, even Crewe don't mess about with it in midfield when they get the ball. Surely we should be firing on all cylinders all the time so we get maximum result out of the game.
Yeah, I think we should get up for it a bit more, but I think there's a lot of moaning about things that don't really just fits in the game. Sometimes you have to pass backwards, sometimes the keeper has to take his time. There's a lot of moaning about that sort of thing. It's not really important.
Half-time at Fratton Park, guys. It's 0-0. What are your thoughts, Sam?
I don't think it's as good as it was on Tuesday night. We need to start passing the ball a bit better, a bit quicker, get out wide, that's where we're getting our joy. We've had the better chances with a better team. I'd like to say the goal will come because it needs to come because Luton are winning as well. Yeah, let's hope it comes.
Alan?
Yeah, we're a bit disappointed, obviously, Tom, but I think they've come here trying to get to half time, like a lot of teams do, which they've succeeded, and they've got Pompey kicking the wrong way in the second half. That's not going to help. I do hope we've got confidence. We've had most of the game, and we're going to go on and win it.
Right, mate, it finished full time, Pompey 0, Crewe ALEXANDRA 1. How annoying and disappointing was that? Put it into words.
Just shocking, Tom. The whole team was shocking. He made 2 substitutions to the 2 best players on the pitch, mate, and that changed the game, didn't it?
It did change the game.
Should have left it as it was.
Should have left it as it was.
Maybe put Connor Chaplin on for Gary Roberts, perhaps, but shocking, mate. It's a disgraceful display of football.
It was horrendous, wasn't it?
You know, some people just get fed up with it, watching the same old.
I thought we were starting to get a little bit good now, just at the right time, and then we just throw it away like that.
Trip to Carlisle, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We all thought about it, didn't we? But
when he played a mighty Morecambe 1-1 in midweek, which is shocking. And then it's better than today.
Morecambe was better than today.
Alexandra, mate, and I'm not going to say Cookie said always says to be fair to them. They look better than us.
That's 10 minutes in the past, mate.
Yeah.
Moving on to next Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, next Tuesday, Crawley away.
Moving on to next Tuesday, Crawley away. We will see you at Crawley. Thanks for watching. As always, keep the faith. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because it really does help us. Keep the faith.
Try to keep the faith on.
And play out properly.
Would you believe it that was the season that we went on to win? We were champions of League 2 that year, and all seemed lost right before this fixture. Just a few months before that, we actually, well, it wasn't a month, it was probably less than a month that we actually went on to win the league. Let's take a look at your league table going into tonight's game. So as you can see, they're at the top on 79 points. A Hull City closely following them, just a win behind them, really, 3 points, and a game in hand too. Peterborough United shaping up nicely for them. Sunderland lead the pack of the playoffs at the moment, 39 points, a game in hand on Peterborough, 2 games in hand on Hull. That'll be a 6-point gap that they could close should they win those games in hand. Blackpool are what prevent Pompey from being next door to their so-called rivals on Wearside. Lincoln City have dropped to 6th in recent weeks into the playoffs, and there is hot competition following them in the shape of Charlton Athletic and Ipswich Town. One man who is an Ipswich Town supporter is Mr. Alex Griffin. We're going to get his score prediction in before we speak to Brendan and Mike this evening.
Right, everybody. Let me just get in my car. Whoosh. It's that time again, Tom. I'm back on the channel. I apologise about the lighting, it's not the best. Just been in the gym lad. Pompey are away to CREWE Alexandra today, and it's that time where I send in my prediction for everyone watching 4-0 stream today. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Now, big game. Portsmouth, obviously, they lost their last game against Burton, but it's going to happen. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But CREWE Alexandra, I think you're going to win tonight. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Portsmouth win. Best of luck. And yeah, I think you've pretty much secured your place in the playoffs. So I don't think you Pompey fans have much to worry about. But obviously, I think it'd be nice if you could have a late push for the top 2. Anyway, enjoy the stream, enjoy the game, and up the Ipswich.
Well, to be fair to him, I know he's an outsider looking in, sorry, but we are going to win some and lose some, aren't we, gents? I wonder what you're... Good evening to you, by the way, and loving the haircuts. I don't know if Mike had one, but Brendan definitely.
No, I have, yeah.
You have, yeah. How are we feeling about tonight, and does what we saw on Saturday make any difference to our preparation, perhaps, this evening?
Yeah, definitely. I think Saturday was a bit of a wake-up call, really, just to show that we're not... we're not untouchable with the Cowleys in charge. I think definitely we'll get a 3 points tonight. Definitely. And it's nice to see your mate Alex has stopped crying after we beat them. And yeah, all is good. Marquis is back in the team. Hopefully he's rediscovered his form and get himself on the score sheet again. Definitely. What yourself, Daz?
Yeah, I think the Cowleys are obviously playing mind games with our opponents each time that he puts a team up, just to give a little twist here and there. But obviously that bit about his ankle, maybe he had a bit of a problem with his ankle, but maybe it wasn't as bad as what people tried to make it out prior to the game. And
it's always Jurgen Klopp-esque, that, isn't it? Dropping a little hint.
Yeah, but a little needle sorted him out, obviously, and he's running around like, not too bad. But like Brendan says, we're not invincible. We said that we're not necessarily going to win them all. I did say we might even draw a couple of these because of, as they've said again, that they're fighting for their lives. They want to stay in this league, especially the ones that are right at the bottom that are in jeopardy, for a better word. But just wanted a quick say on God, didn't you look young in that video at the beginning?
Oh, don't. That was... It's more than 4 years old now, that one. 2017, so I would have been quite young at the time.
Yeah, I just said, was your dad still changing your nappies at that time? But
well, not quite.
You were good back then, Tom, and you're still good now, mate. Keep it going.
Thank you very much appreciate that. Brendan, just coming to you on tonight, we've got a man in the middle. He'll be wearing all black this evening. He goes by the name of Darren Drysdale, and that name might ring a bell from a couple of weeks ago as to what happened at Ipswich Town. I know we don't normally discuss referees too much because it's not of utmost importance to what happens, perhaps, but we all know what happened. I don't know if you wanted to explain perhaps your opinion on him, given what happened at Ipswich Town.
Well, he's a pretty poor ref, really, in all standards, I'd say. Obviously, there's a lot more worse referees that we've seen. You go back to last night's game with his disallowed goal for the Baggies, which was clearly offside, and even
would have made it 4.
Would have been 4-0. And you can go to the Southampton fan page. Oh, look, we've got the score right. But and it's that man Kevin Friend behind the computer screen, which we know notoriously refereeing Pompey games, and he never has a good game for us. But I always think with the referees and a lot of things, even at Sunday League football, when you got dodgy linesmen, if you put the ball in the net, you can't complain. They can't rule it. Don't give them a reason to give a bad decision. You put the ball in the net, and you can't complain about them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike, Pompey have, of course, won 4 of their last 5 league games. And as a new group, we've said it before and we'll say it again, but that's not bad going, is it, going into tonight?
No. I think anybody that takes on a new manager, I mean, it doesn't always work. I mean, look at Sam Allardyce. He went to West Brom and he didn't win his first few games. However, the Cowleys have come in and done it, and sometimes it works for the managers, the new managers. Sometimes it doesn't.
Even Cookie as well.
Yeah, Cookie as well. Yeah. So I think we've done all right. We've not done too bad. As I said to your dad at the end of the last stream, that I don't think the automatics are in our vision at all at this moment in time. I don't think we can get there. I will stick to that and I'll stay to that. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the way we're going, the way we're forging forward. We just need to keep it going to the very end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to ask you as well, Brendan, that at this moment in time, I know Andrew's, I don't know if he'll be on with us later on this evening, and I'm sure he'll discuss his reasoning behind why he still thinks automatics is a possibility, because he will until it's mathematically impossible. But from a Pompey point of view, there's nicer problems to have, to think that a playoff place is not almost certain, but it's pretty, you wouldn't bet against Pompey not having a playoff position this season. And also the luxury of looking at the automatics, it's not too bad, is it? Nicer problems to have, as it were.
Oh, of course, yeah. There's nothing bad about looking at it, because as we say, until it's mathematically impossible, until the team's relegated, the team's still in the league, aren't they? They're still got a fighting chance. And as we said before, our running is very favourable in the sense of we've got a lot of teams that are in the bottom half of the table, and the teams above us have got teams that are in around the top half of the table, or the upper quarter of the table, even at that. I think even tonight, Sunderland have got a tough game going away to Wigan, and Wigan gave us a game, and I think they could do a job with them tonight. I think Wigan could take some points off them, and that will knock away Sunderland's game in hand over Hull. And that's a point them not catching up with them and Peterborough. So it's all to play for. I'll be, obviously, as a Pompey fan, we're over the moon if we make the automatics, but we don't think it's going to be very likely at this point.
Go on. Sorry.
No. All I was going to point out, there are some really good fixtures on telly tonight, on the list tonight. I mean, Sunderland and Wigan kicking off at the same time as us. But you've got Doncaster against Burton. You've got Lincoln against MK Dons, and even Oxford against Shrewsbury. They're not easy games for anybody, really. I'm not saying ours is easy, but I'd rather have ours than any of those. It can happen. It can still happen. We know football's a funny old game, as they say,
and Pompey's a funny club.
Yeah.
And this is a funny season as well.
Yeah, we shouldn't actually be here, should we? I mean, how many chances have we already had at the playoffs? We should have got through last season. And the mockery about somebody who can't play who only play in the winter and not in the summer, that's been blown out the water. I'd love to hear his verbal himself actually come out and explain that decision. But I think we've got to do it this time.
Yeah, and just to say as well, Brendan, if you're a Crewe fan, 15th in League One, nothing to play for looking upwards, not a lot of concern looking behind you. What would you take away from tonight? Would you take, I don't know if you were watching the video, but Alan spoke to a couple of Crewe fans outside the game and said, we take a 0-0 draw. We beat them 4-1 earlier on in the season. What do you expect to happen this evening?
Well, I think they're going to come and they're going to, put a lot of men behind the ball and then trying to hit us on the break, which a lot of teams try and do against Pompey. We're going to want to try and play our nice free-flowing football and then, try and break through their gaps and break down probably their probably 4 at the back and probably 5 in the midfield. Try and break them down and get through it. So, as long as we get the right penetrating passes and get the ball in the box and get Marquis a yard out and give it to him, put it in the net, we can't really complain. But the Crewe are very similar in this league this season to a lot of teams who linger around the Premiership and call themselves a big club when they just survive relegation every year. It's like, well, yes, you're in the Premiership, but what are you doing there? Now those mugs down the road that we talk about them. So we're big, we're in the Premiership. Yeah, but what have you done for the last 10 years in the Premiership? Not much.
There's one thing we've got in
the Premier League record on 2 occasions for
But I think we've got something in common with them down there after tonight. I think we'll have the 9-0 win.
So it was 6 on Saturday, wasn't it? So why not? Gents, I'm going to stay right there. I'm going to bring Gaz into the conversation. He joins us all the way live from Malta. Good evening to you, mate. Welcome along. Just to build on what the gents were saying there, I mean, it isn't much of a season that Crewe have got to look forward to now. So they've lost 6-0 in the week. 4-1, we beat them back in November of 2020. It's shaping up to be a good one from our point of view tonight, isn't it?
All right, lads. All right. Nice to be here again. Yeah, I mean, Crewe have got, more to play for. Obviously, they're higher than Burton, and we were given a lesson by Burton on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, we can't take any game for granted. Basically, it's 11 v 11. We've got, a couple of changes for tonight. Marquis, hopefully, he'll have his shooting boots on. And hopefully, he'll get some service today as well. Because I thought Naylor was a bit quiet on Saturday. And obviously, he was a bit tired as well. So hopefully, he's had a bit of a rest and we can dominate that midfield. And obviously, support the boys up top.
That was a bit of a sort of convention of what we've seen from Pompey as of late, actually, Gaz, wasn't it? A little bit of sort of weariness in terms of, it's a new group. And what I thought was really interesting, now I'll bring the gents in on this one as well, is that in a sort of just before this one, yesterday, I heard Danny Cowley talking about layering the learning. And I think that's quite an important phrase to bear in mind because, Gaz, it is still fresh ideas. Although it's been a couple of weeks, it's still difficult to work your way out of what we all knew was difficult to watch at times from our previous establishment. And now so much change, you can almost understand a bit of tiredness, can't you? But as we said last week, if a lion jumped out on you, you wouldn't be leggy, would you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's new ideas. It's everything, new training, new voice on the sideline. So, yeah, it is a learning curve. But, they're professionals and, the only way is up for us. So we just got to concentrate on ourselves. Yeah, there's going to be other results that we're going to be looking at. But, like the boys said there's some good some interesting games tonight to keep an eye on. But as always, concentrate on our game. Crewe are going to be a bit wounded from the weekend. That was a bit of a hammering for them. So we'll see what they come out today like.
Yeah, absolutely. Just Mike on this one from Andrew. Thank you for the moment, Gaz. Andrew said we've played average football against average teams in the last 5 games. We see the odd moment here and there, but we need a dominant display of class to show us the improvement made 3-1 win. And perhaps what Andrew's saying is maybe it is that those fresh ideas that we haven't yet been able to see. But I'd probably argue against the point that it's been average teams, but has it been average football from Pompey, considering what we had for... Go on.
3 points. That's all we care about. 3 points on the board.
I do agree with what Andrew said. Not all of it, but yes, there are times where we have shown the brilliance of what we can do and gone on and maybe not necessarily won the game, but there are moments within the game you can see it is old Pompey. But we remember I said the other day when we lost, we played like Jacket was still stood on the touchline. However, yes, the Cowleys have come in. Yes, they have new ideas. Those new ideas take time to bed in, and I don't think we'll necessarily see the full effects of what they can do with a football team until he's got what he wants in his team, which may include quite a few of the ones that we've still got at the club, and maybe all of them. We don't know. We'll see, because he is planning for the next season. He's got to be, because if you hear him talking about academy status and this, that, and the other, I think he's got a contract longer than what we're being told at the moment. I said that the other day. But Andrew's right. Yes, we're not necessarily playing at our best potential, and it does take time, like you said, with Cowley. But one thing about the Lions, you've got to be faster than the other person who's behind you, because the Lion will catch the slowest, and the slowest are the ones down the bottom of the league. So that's what we've got to look at, that we're not the last person running for the Lion.
Yeah, absolutely. And perhaps actually, Gaz, that would apply in a playoff sense, wouldn't it? The Lions are chasing currently Charlton, Ipswich, teams like that, whereas we're more comfortable in our stance. Obviously, we'd like to be higher, wouldn't we? And we were speaking about sort of the automatics isn't a commodity for Pompey. Obviously, we all know it'd be nice to get there. But right now, are you satisfied with the fact that, especially under the Cowleys, that playoffs is something to look forward to for Pompey this season now?
Yeah, definitely. Because even though we lost at the weekend, I'm confident that it can turn around quite quickly under the Cowleys. Whereas under he shall not be named, it was almost, I'd be a bit worried about going into Crewe, because it's like what did he do in training? Do you know what I mean? Between Burton and now, at least we know that the Cowleys, they take defeat on, personally as well, So even in his interviews, he's very modest. He's very, down to earth, and he says where we went wrong and what we can do. So at least going into the playoffs as a leader, taking the team in, he'll definitely raise the bar, I think, as opposed to our last performances.
Yeah, absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for the moment. We'll speak to you both at half time and then on again at full time as well. And hopefully we've got a good evening of football in store. Speak to you both soon.
Yeah, see you later.
This is the season so far for Pompey at this moment in time. We're looking at their what isn't too much of a separation. It's 10 positions and actually 10 points in the league right now that separate the two teams. CREWE have lost 2 more games than Pompey, pretty equal on draws, and obviously you've got 4 more games from winning that Pompey have won in the division, and obviously we can see the biggest losses and biggest wins. I'll just make it clear before we get any comments, Sam had a bit of a heavy night last night, everyone. And because we're a couple of numbers short, I asked him later on this afternoon if he'd be able to jump on for 5 and just give us his thoughts pre-game. So welcome, mate. We'll come to Aaron in just a moment, but I was about to say, how are you? That's probably a bit of a rubbish question, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, I'm all right. I've recovered a little bit, but yeah, got the football to distract me tonight, so yeah, should be all right.
Good. And that football that is going to provide a bit of a distraction, how do you see it going this evening?
It's a big game, Tom, because it's obviously trying to see how they bounce back from that first defeat under the Cowleys. So it'll be interesting to see how the reaction will be. I think John Marquis coming back in is a massive boost because it wasn't working with Curtis up front. He says he can play up front, but I don't necessarily think he's got the ability to hold the ball up as well as what you need to be able to do. So, good to have Marquis back in. CREWE just coming off a big defeat as well, so should be there for the taking if we put in a good performance. But yeah, Burton completely deserved their win on the weekend. I thought they just did a job, and a second goal was obviously a wonder strike. So couldn't really complain too much. We did try to play the right way. We did try. It just didn't very well organised side, and we couldn't quite break them down. But I expect it to be a bit of a different game today. CREWE like to play football. They like to be expansive, and hopefully we can pick them off.
Aaron, the fish tank's back. Thank you for bringing that back onto our screens. Sam's just mentioned there that it was a bit of a thrashing for them at the weekend, and given we beat them 4-1 in November of this season, it's shaping up to be something that could be quite enjoyable watch tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. Both wounded animals, CREWE and Pompey after Saturday. So yeah, fair enough. CREWE haven't really got anything to play for, but you never know. You get a couple of wins and they're in the playoffs. So it's just like, yeah, so we need to come out all firing, all blazing. And glad Marquis is on. So it gives us a proper striker. Let's see what the Cowleys are doing. Just seen them on Sky Sports. It sounds positive. They were criticising the final third from Saturday. So obviously they've been practicing that in training. So hopefully it should be a good game tonight.
Let's hope so. Important that I mentioned to you, Aaron, but I said this to the boys just now. I don't know if you were watching, but the phrase that I picked up from what Danny Cowley's been saying, you just mentioned it on Sky, but he said that we need to layer the learning. And given the players have had so much to sort of take on board over the last couple of weeks, are you sort of prepared to accept the fact that it is going to take a couple of weeks before Cowley ball, as we can probably coin the phrase, is actually going to be evident on the pitch for us?
Yeah, I think so, because if you think he who should not be named was there for 4 years. So the team is still stuck with that 4 years. It's going to take all time to get that out of them. But hopefully Cowley's got him in training. He's making him work really hard. And hopefully he's now rubbing salt into the wounds from the old person and welcome to the new era. But I definitely think he's going to be, if we do go up this season, which I think we will, they will both get an extended contract.
Sam, you quite rightly said that Sunderland, when the last time we spoke to you on the show, would be in and around there, and that's proofs in the pudding, really, is where they are in the league table at the moment, and they could make a last-ditch dash for the playoffs in the final 6 games. Where would you realistically see Pompey finishing at this point in the season, and is it going to be an achievement and a success, given what we were used to for the rest of the season, if it is a playoff finish this year?
Well, after Saturday, I don't think the automatics are realistic. we would have had to win every game. That would have got us onto 88 points. This is before Saturday, and even that probably wouldn't have been enough because you got the Peterborough and Hull both picking up points at quite a good rate. So I do feel a playoff place would be a good position to finish, considering the poor run we had in the middle of the season. So yeah, a playoff place, and see if we can see what we can do from there. Obviously Blackpool look like they're on fire and could beat anyone at the moment. Lincoln seems to be getting a few players back, and then one of those top three are also going to drop out of the automatics, and they'll be in the playoffs as well. So it's going to be quite a tough playoff to win, or to actually come Pompey just to win a playoff game would be a start. But yeah, playoffs probably the aim. And if we do get in the playoffs, I do feel that would merit them getting their contracts extended, because at one point we dropped as low as 10th or 11th. So yeah, a playoff spot would be a realistic and a good achievement if we got there.
One thing that is important to note for the playoffs, Sam, is the fact that, well, one thing's confirmed, one thing isn't. The confirmation is that it will be the first one. I believe it's the 18th or 19th of May would be the first leg of the League One playoffs, and then the same again for that sort of Saturday, Sunday weekend. It's not confirmed, but the Prime Minister set out initially that it would be May the 17th with fans back. How much of a sort of a catalyst for Pompey's success in the playoffs perhaps would fans be, if we could have any there at all, given our track record in the playoffs? And I don't think we've ever won a playoff game, have we?
Oh yeah, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it, if we could fans could get back in. I do think it would really help. Obviously, it'd be interesting to see how they do it, because I don't know if the dates kind of overlap a little bit. Maybe you could have fans in at one leg and then not in the other leg. I'm not too sure, but that might be an issue around that. But if they did allow, say, 4,000 fans in Fratton Park for, say, the first leg or second leg, that'd be a huge boost for the players going forward, and you could see it maybe being the difference. But ultimately, I feel like we need to get to the playoffs first. That there is still a fair bit of work to be done to get that place consolidated and get it cemented. You know, the likes of Charlton are picking up. You've got Oxford come off a good result, so Ipswich as well under Paul Cook. There are a few teams lurking around, and you know, if we don't pick up our form again after that defeat, it may be a bit of a tougher task to try and cement that playoff spot. So yeah, I do feel it is an achievable goal, but it's not in the bag right now.
Aaron, would you be concerned if it was another loss for Pompey this evening, given that, well, the one fact is that CREWE have only won one of their last 6 league games against Pompey, and also, as Sam's mentioned there, it's important to bounce back off a defeat to Burton. Would that concern you in terms of our playoff hopes for the season if this was another loss tonight? I know it's quite pessimistic, but...
I think yes, in all fairness, because these are the games that we should be winning. We should be winning and winning comfortably. But if we do lose tonight, even a draw is not really good. We need the 3 points. No matter what happens, we need Marquis to step up tonight, get the 3 points, and keep in that playoff position. If we lose one more a game like tonight, then that puts much more pressure on the players themselves, because now we're fighting to stay in the playoffs. We need to cement ourselves there, and whatever happens, until it's mathematically impossible, just keep on getting them points. But 3 points is a must tonight.
And how important, Sam, as a team fighting for the playoffs, is it to think that it is really important to focus on yourselves? I mean, because it's such a competition to get in them. And then, as we've mentioned in years gone by, such a lottery once you're in them. Our results are the ones that primarily matter to us, aren't they?
Yeah, you can get carried away, can't you? Because obviously you're looking at 7, 8 teams' results along with your result, and you can often forget about the task in front of you. And I feel like fans sometimes do get a bit carried away with that. You know, ultimately Pompey need to win a good proportion of their remaining games to just guarantee a playoff spot, and they shouldn't really. I'm sure the Cowleys will be the same. That they've already come out and said that they aren't focusing on the table at the moment. They're just purely focusing on performances and trying to do what they think's best to get the best out of the team and get those results. So yeah, I do see where you're coming from, because you can end up looking at, say, like eight different fixtures or 8 different teams' results over the course of a match day. So yeah, I do agree with you there, Tom.
Great. Well, Aaron, if you wouldn't mind staying right there, Sam, I'm going to let you head off and recover, because you look like you need it. Thanks for jumping on, mate, at short notice. Speak to you in a little bit.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
this is how Pompey's previous couple of fixtures look at the as we're looking back over the years. It's been quite a while since Pompey have taken all 3 points from Gresty Road, and hopefully that will be something that we're going to look to change this evening. You have to go back to more than past 2012 to see when Pompey last came away with a +3 at the stadium they play in this evening. But given that 4-1 victory at the top of your screen, that could be something that's about to change, and also given the fact that we all know that result that came against Oxford United at the weekend for the hosts this evening. Good evening to Retro Shirt Sean, who's very kindly got back just in time for us. As you can tell, we're a bit short on numbers this evening, boys and girls. Unfortunately, Adam and Alex and Richard as well are unable to join us this evening. But look at these gentlemen that have managed to pull us through. Just to start with, Pompey have, of course, won 4 of their 5 games against... with the Cowleys in charge, and going into tonight, we'll look to make that 5 from 6. How impressed are you to start off with that is a record that we've had, but how much does it concern you that record might be sort of, I know the phrase honeymoon period has been mentioned on social media sites. Good evening as well, by the way. But what are you thinking right now?
I'd probably say blessed is the word, because if they hadn't come in and done what they did, our season would have been over. It'd be mid-table mediocrity, and we have nothing to look forward to. The run they put in has opened it all up for us. I'd never thought 5 games in we'd have just lost 1 game, and we're back in contention for not automatics. I'm not as mad as Andrew, but at least we have something to look forward to. An exciting end of the season, the prospect of 2 extra games, and if we made the automatics, I'd be as happy as the next man.
How much do you look at what has happened to CREWE in the last sort of 48, 72 hours, Aaron, and that 6-0 defeat to an Oxford United side that are by no means storming the league at all this season and aren't having an outstanding season? Is it just another case of, Accrington lost by a lot to Peterborough, didn't they? And there have been some rogue results. Or is it actually a case of we need to really kick them while they're down tonight?
Yeah, got to kick them while they're down. I think if we can get a couple of early goals, then I think their heads will just drop straight away. They're wounded, we're wounded, but they actually got humiliated the other night by Oxford. And everyone's beating everyone. So as long as we come out firing, get a couple of early goals, and then their heads will drop, and then that's it. We definitely a 4-0, definitely.
There we go. A lot of confidence going into tonight from the man with the fish tank. Sean, I was going to mention to you, we've spoken to the guys that have joined us in the last 45 minutes or so, but something that I picked out from what Danny Cowley was saying earlier on in the week was that we're layering the learning on our new group of players that they've come in to sort of take under their wing and hopefully have a successful end of the season with. How important is it that Pompey fans realise it's not going to happen overnight, and it is still it's been a couple of weeks, granted, and there's been a dodgy result, but layering the learning is important given that there's such a stark difference in the way that we used to be playing as to the way we are now.
And we've spoke about fitness levels as well, and I'd add that into that. And the whole style of play that they like to play, it's very different from the Jacket style. Thank God, some would say. But it would be it'd be unfair to the players to expect them to be playing the Cowley way straight away. And I understand what they're doing, dripping the message in, and it will take a while, probably even a couple of transfer windows to get the squad and the players that they want to actually mould it into the way they're going to eventually play the game. But we've seen the positive steps, and it's nice to see. And the players as well, none of them are backed away from it. They've all put their all into it. They're buying into the message, and it's a united camp, which is really nice to see. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. I just saw the lineups there. Is Marquis playing?
He is indeed. We can take a look at the lineups on your screen now, and I'll read through it while we give Sean an opportunity to just flick his eyes over it. But Craig McGilvery in goal, a back four of Callum Johnson, Jack Watmore, Sean Raggett, and Charlie Daniels, who takes the place of the slightly injured, little bit of a knock. There was a mention of a sort of a light hamstring sort of strain for Lee Brown during the week. So hopefully, I know we'd probably all like to see Charlie Daniels, wouldn't we? But hopefully for Lee Brown's sake, that's nothing serious. Tom Naylor, your captain, as always. Ben Close playing there in midfield, who's having an absolutely outstanding end to his season under the Cowleys. Marcus Harness, Ryan Williams, Ronan Curtis, and John Marquis. And on Marquis in just a moment, Sean. But first, Alfie Stanley still retains a place on the bench. How pleased does that make you?
Very pleased. Very pleased. Concerned about Marquis. He's had 2 injections. I think we're going to need him for the going on for the rest of the games. That's my only concern about that lineup. The lineup looks strong. You know, Gresty Road's a place we haven't got good results over recent time. It'd be nice to go there with a strong team. I probably would have started with Alfie and brought Marquis on, because we're going to need Marquis for the length of the rest of the season. And really, we should be beating CREWE easy. I agree, you know, with Aaron there. You know, this should be a goal difference game. But Gresty Road is a hard place to go. But we need to get a couple of goals past them and get the goal difference looking good.
The flip side of that is, Aaron, would you maybe start with John Marquis and then look to bring Alfie Stanley on perhaps after the hour mark, or maybe a little bit sooner than that?
If we can get a couple of goals before half time, then swap him at half time. It just depends, because he's been out for a few weeks anyway through suspension. But if he has got a little knock and he's had injections, you don't want to get that niggly little part going, and then in a couple of weeks' time he's out injured for the rest of the season. So you've got to wrap him up in cotton wool. So play him for a bit. If he looks a bit rusty and everything, swap him at half time. You never know, Stanley could come in and do what Cannon did like the other week. 38 seconds, score the goal. You never know. Stranger things have happened. So, but I would give the kid a chance, see what he's capable of, but only if we are actually a couple of goals in front. Don't want to risk him too early, but then the Cowleys know what they're doing, so they must have faith in the young kid. So let's hopefully might see him play tonight.
The other Sean has just said, be all over by half time. Do you share that optimism from your namesake?
I would love to share the optimism. You know, quietly confident. You know, if it had been a different manager, I think going into this game I'd have been worried. But with the application the players have shown over the last 4 or 5 games, you take away the last result, you couldn't fault them. It was a solid team performance in every game, and even the last game they were playing well. It was just the end result, that last third of the pitch. So confident is the word I'd say. But like Aaron, you know, a couple of early goals, put the game to bed. Don't mess around. There's 3 points to be taken today, and just go in and do the job.
Pompey,
that's what Crowley's been saying.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Tom. That's what Crowley's been saying as well. Is that final third in that last game? So you definitely know he's going to be doing that in training for the last couple of days. So you're still going to see us all play, but then all of a sudden you're going to have everyone shooting. Everyone just take it. We're going to get at least 4 or 5 different people on the score sheet tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say as well that literally I was just about to build on what Aaron was saying there, but Mark's put it in the comments too. We need to deliver the goods in the final third of the pitch. Is John Marquis going to be the man who changes that tonight, Sean, and the problems that Pompey have had finishing those chances off?
Well, potentially, but he's not. He's a poacher. He's that, you know, that number 9 in the middle. But a lot of he creates a lot as well. A lot bounces off him, and you get the Curtis and the Harness running off it. So I think we'll see a lot more creativity up there anyway. He plays better when he's well supported. When he's isolated, he can easily get marked out of a game. And I think that the crux of today will be making sure the balls get to him are good balls through, but also he's got the support where he can knock it down, bounce off, feed it through. So I think it'll be an interesting one.
I don't know if that's a sort of a little bit of an insult to myself and you, Aaron, but a great head of hair on the right from this man who's jumped in the comments. You know, it's been all the hair's gone now, as I'm pleased to show you and pleased to announce it's finally that time again. And just building on that, Aaron, it's good news that restrictions are easing. We were just talking to Sam about it. I didn't get your opinion, and I'll come to Sean on it too, but obviously nothing's confirmed yet. The only thing we do know is that the playoffs are going to be happening on sort of the 18th, 19th, and then I think it's 22nd, 23rd for the first and second leg, and then I believe the finals the following week at Wembley. So how important is that, given the fact that the roadmap would suggest that May the 17th is the date for large indoor sporting events, and whether that's scaled back or not, it might still just be that little bit of an oomph that Pompey need behind them to get the playoff hopes and the success in the playoffs underway, perhaps. What do you think? Yeah,
definitely. I think the players have actually missed the fans as well. It would have been toxic a couple of months ago, really, really toxic. But now, because they're delivering and they're actually performing well, I think if they had the fans there, on social media, everyone's congratulating them, saying, work hard, you're doing really, really good, step up now. I think it'd be fantastic if we can get into, especially Wembley, for the final. But hopefully we'll be automatics. But you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, you're both men of the medical realm. I don't know how you feel about it, Sean, but the situation as it is, we don't want to touch too much on COVID because our friends at YouTube will sort of not not be very happy with us. But as things stand right now, it's all heading in the right direction for what could be something that's of real importance to Pompey for their playoff hopes this season in terms of fans being there.
Yeah, just quiet optimism that life will get back to some semblance to normality. I think we can't rush it. It's all very sensible about the whole thing, but it looks like we're going in the right direction. And if we can get fans in stadiums, it not only supports the club financially, but like you say, it puts a spring in the step of the players. They actually they thrive on it, and with a positive attitude that's coming out of Fratton Park at the minute, generally for all fans, I think it would be amazing. And to have a glass of celebratory drink at Wembley would be lovely, especially in the playoff final.
It would. Just finally, Aaron, you've said it could be quite a few tonight. Are you going to go for a 4-0 maybe this evening?
Oh yeah, definitely 4-0. But if we can score more to get our goal difference back up, I know we're well behind in the goal difference. But yeah, definitely a 4-0 at the moment. But then see what happens at half time. We could be 4-0 at half time.
Just quickly as well, just seeing as he's brought it up, Sean, the goal difference might end up being quite crucial in terms of the difference between, I know it's a long shot, but playoffs and automatics, maybe even worst case scenario, playoffs and League One football next season. How crucial do you see getting some goals in the back of the net?
I think we look at our fixtures and the teams that we're playing. That is the opportunity. Whilst they're all taking points off each other, the guys around us, and they'll be winning 1-0 and stuff like that, we should be looking at winning heavily over the next 4 or 5 games and really making that goal difference count. That's what we should be doing, because the good goal difference, it's almost like an extra win, isn't it, in the season, especially when it comes down to it. And it's got to be in the back of the players' minds, I would have thought.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jen. Oh, sorry. Quick score prediction from your good self, Sean, if you wouldn't mind.
Got to go 4-0.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen. We will speak to you both at the halftime whistle. That was Aaron and Sean who very kindly join us here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. Right, we are now just more than 5 minutes from kickoff. Sean has expressed the importance of a clean sheet, which I would completely agree with. Full time forever PUFC is saying CREWE 1, Pompey 2. Let's hopefully it might be a few more in Pompey's favour. That is absolutely right. From Break the Silence, the only club in the south, and Juan all the way from Malta's hoping for a better final third performance. Play up Pompey. Boys and girls, now is the time to get your score prediction in the comment section down below. I'll be going through all your thoughts over the next couple of moments or so. Traditional Signs of London joined us. Welcome. Good evening to you. We need a convincing win. We've not had one for a while, even against the lower in the league teams. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to, I don't know, AFC Wimbledon, the 4-0 perhaps. That might be the last time, or maybe the Swindon Town. I think it was 2 or 3 for Swindon Town 2 or 3-0 back at Fratton Park. Perhaps that might have been the only opportunity. Well, not the only opportunity, the only chance that we saw Pompey give a bottom of the league, sort of a bottom half of the league side, a good old rollicking, as it were. Ollie says it's got to be a 4-0. Let's hope so. Ollie, Andrew's saying a 6-0 win. Kickoff is now is probably just less than 5 minutes away now. We are just under 5 minutes away. Alex is saying a 3-0 Pompey. Matt's going to go for today's the day to get the goals. So I think an easy 4-0 win. Would absolutely love that. Jonathan's going for a 2-1 play at Pompey. CREWE centre-backs. Jack will discuss the both lineups from both teams in just a few moments. Matters on Facebook has said a 4-0 written all over it win. So I'm looking forward to it. Rufy's going for a 3-0 Pompey win. It's got 4-0 written all over it. Keep the faith and Anthony Martin. Thanks for joining us. Save Fratton gone for a 5-1 Pompey. It's a 4-0 clean sheet from Brendan. Jay said we need to focus today on seeing how our lads bounce back from a loss on Saturday. The difference in mentality will be shown today. Play at Pompey, and perhaps the difference in mentality is inspired by the Cowley regime that has recently been greeted with open arms at Portsmouth Football Club, and hopefully we can see a lot of that. Thanks to your comment. Jay Fred has said 3-0 Pompey. Hello to Brian, who joins us all the way from Rio de Janeiro in South America. Good evening, or good, I think it's good afternoon to you at this moment in time. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for your comment. He's reckon a 1-0, a little bit more conservative than I'm expecting, Brian, to be honest with you, but we'll take a 1-0 nonetheless. Rugby Forever said, I know everyone has been against our strikers this season. Marquis not as amazing as at Donny or Harrison, but I really think Jackett screwed them over and Cowley's can make them be so much better. The thing is with that, and I really agree with that comment, because we've seen performances from Ronan Curtis. We've seen performances from Marcus Harness. We've seen performances from Ben Close is a massive example of the change and the change in the, not just only the dynamic, but the change in their confidence levels and the change in the way they're playing for Portsmouth Football Club. They're still the same people, but they're being managed differently and being managed by different people who perhaps sort of showcase their assets better from a Pompey point of view, or even play them in the way they want to, or maybe it is just a case of, we've been discussing in the last couple of weeks, of putting that arm around the player and just allowing them to feel like they actually are deserved of a place at Portsmouth Football Club. And perhaps the sort of the cold and the scroungy times that we've had in the a couple of months ago and the last couple of months prior to that we haven't been used to under Kenny Jackett and such like. So yeah, I massively agree with what you're saying there, mate. Hello to Amy. Good evening. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing really well. Andrew's going to join me in just a moment. I think it'll be 2-1 to us. Looking forward to it. Play at Pompey. Mayan's going for a 2-1. Dean has said 4-0. And hopefully Marquis can shine under the Cowleys. Let's hope that is the case. He went for a shine afterwards. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, Marquis is, and Danny Cowley obviously has a lot of sort of faith in him, doesn't he? In terms of, he said that he's, any League One team would struggle without John Marquis. Those were his comments. Sorry, after the game at Fratton Park on Saturday. So I think the managers are happy to have him back. The team are happy to have him back. The players are. The fans watching at home are too. We are live this evening on Fournilwrittenalloverit from CREWE, Alexandra, which you may only know as CREWE, which is the place where you change trains to go to Manchester. The Railway Men, as they are called, are the hosts this evening. They currently sit in 15th. They're 10 points adrift of Pompey, 10 places below them as well. It's rather strange that it works out that way, but there we go. And there's an interesting one from Jonathan. It's another name. Brett Pittman was treated under Kenny Jackett. It's been a sort of repeat pattern of ill-treating, perhaps, from previous times gone by. Maybe that's all about to change this evening. Mark said, I'll be happy with all 3 points. 2-0 to Pompey. Thank you for that, Mark. Thanks for joining us. And the players are now on their way out in the white shirt, black shorts, black socks, and obviously an array of different coloured boots as well. I'm looking at Callum Johnson. Sean Raggett's making his way onto the pitch. He's still got a bit of a plaster on his face. At this moment in time, I'm going to take you through your team news this evening, starting with Craig McGilvery in goal, a back four of Callum Johnson, Jack Watmore, Sean Raggett and Charlie Daniels, who is in the team for the injured Lee Brown, who's picked up a little bit of a hamstring knock on Saturday. It's Tom Naylor, your captain, Ben Close sitting in midfield alongside him, Marcus Harness, Ron Williams, Ronan Curtis, your attacking forwards, perhaps Curtis playing alongside Marquis in that 4-4-2 layout this evening. We will wait and see, and hopefully the team lineup, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? I mean, we'll be able to tell within the first couple of moments here on Fournilwrittenalloverit as we're giving you the commentary. But yeah, an interesting one. Alfie Stanley makes up the bench, and what is looking like a 4-2-3-1 at the moment with Marquis up top is what I'm looking at as a layout on the screen. But perhaps that could turn into a Curtis maybe, and then you've got Williams might shuffle out to that left-hand side, Harness down the right-hand side, as we know he's had an awful lot of success doing so in the last couple of weeks from a Pompey point of view, and especially I know it was a loss on Saturday, but for the game on Saturday, Marquis did get Harness got an awful lot of joy out of that right-hand channel that he managed to get some really good movements together for what was happening in the box. And unfortunately, that just couldn't quite be replicated in terms of what we were expecting to happen at the end of the pitch. CREWE Alexandra have trotted over from the main stand. They are now doing a little bit of warm-up on some cones. Good evening to Jack. Welcome along to the stream, mate. Hope you're doing really well. We're live all evening here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. We're going to be live until about I believe it'll be about 8:30 this evening that we leave you. We're going to take you through commentary of the first 45. Hopefully Andrew will be available to nip in and join me in just a few moments. But we're really excited for this one, and hopefully it's going to be one that turns out good from a Pompey point of view. We could be in for a really exciting evening live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit, and we've got a 5-0 Pompey there. Thank you very much. And Mickey's saying it's going to be Marquis. He's won it in the 96th minute. We remember that, don't we? Back in the day, I believe that was Exeter City, wasn't it, back in the day? And I can confirm that Darren Drysdale is the man who's in the middle this evening. Had a bit of a facade, should we call it, with Alan Judge of Ipswich Town. We are all going to gather around the centre circle and have a 2-minute silence, actually, in the next couple of moments to remember Prince Philip, who sadly died. And this is obviously the opportunity the first opportunity that CREWE Alexandra have had to sort of pay their respects from their point of view because it's the first home game that they've managed to have, but since the Duke's death. So we will be paying our respects in just a moment. I'm just going to try and get the clip organised for you. Referee hasn't quite blown his whistle yet as the players and backroom staff make their way out on to the front of the dugouts there, and we're going to pay our respects to His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, who sadly passed away on Friday evening at the age of 99. I'd like to invite you to join us here on Fournilwritten All Over It, alongside the players and staff from both sets of clubs this afternoon at Fratton Park, for a period of reflection on the life of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, who passed away yesterday morning at the age of 99. He was born on the Greek island of Corfu on the 10th of June 1921 and married Princess Elizabeth in 1947, 5 years before she unexpectedly became Queen in 1952, after the sudden passing of her father, George VI. As many Pompey fans will know, the Duke of Edinburgh was an extremely decorated serviceman. He held the rank of Lord High Admiral of the United Kingdom as the ceremonial head of the Royal Navy, and was one of only 9 English great officers of state. The Queen held the title for 47 years prior to Prince Philip before conferring the office upon her husband in 2011 as part of the celebrations for his 90th birthday. The Duke had served in the Royal Navy during the Second World War, but gave up a promising naval career to support Elizabeth as her consort. He was at the Queen's side for more than 6 decades of her reign, and in 2009 His Royal Highness became the longest-serving consort in British history. He left... Yeah, we're paying our respects at the Alexandra Stadium to the Duke of Edinburgh, His Royal Highness Prince Philip, who sadly passed away, as I said, on Friday evening at the age of 99. Ryan Williams is the man standing over the ball at the Alexandra Stadium this evening. Darren Drysdale's just checking with both goalkeepers. There is a low-hanging sun. Well, it's not quite low-hanging, but it means that the referee's had to sort of shade his face in order to put his thumb up to both goalkeepers. So hopefully that isn't going to be too much of a problem for Craig McGilvery this evening. And off we go with Ryan Williams. We're now off and underway at Gresty Road. And it's back to Tom Naylor, who's in a more defensive position than we're normally seeing him at the start of this game. And the sun is beaming down on Craig McGilvery's face. And you could probably, from a Pompey point of view, sit here and say, well, actually, their keeper's going to have it more as the sun drops lower for the second half. Automatically, CREWE Alexandra on the ball. It's Anthony Evans, the 22-year-old, who referee's going to blow up for a free kick for him as Ronan Curtis is the man who's conceded that one, and it will be the goalkeeper, Will. This is a fun one. Jääkeläinen is the 22-year-old Finland international. He's kept 5 clean sheets. He's not international. He doesn't play for Finland. He's from Finland. He's kept 5 clean sheets for CREWE Alexandra so far this season. Hello to Charles Jenkins, who's just joined. He said, looking forward to resuming that winning way with MARQUIS up top. Let's see if that can be the case, Charles. Thanks for being with us live here on Fournilwritten All Over It. And thank you to all of you for being with us as well. Make sure you leave the stream a like and drop us a subscribe if you haven't already done so. Charlie Daniels under a little bit of pressure. Sorry, a little bit of pressure early doors from Luke Murphy, and Tom Naylor's been fouled in his box there. It was quite a horrible challenge from Owen Dale, right on the 6-yard line. Actually, Tom Naylor's a little bit really sort of dangerous flurry of sort of congestion there in the Pompey box as Craig McGilvery's looking to sort of forget that one quite quickly and fires one up the pitch towards Ronan Curtis as the sun continues to beam down on Cheshire this evening. This is, I believe that's Ryan Williams now. Ronan Curtis goes in for the challenge, wins the ball, says the referee, and it's going to be, not sure who he's going to give the throw in to. Oh, no, it is going to be a CREWE Alexandra. Referee didn't signal it, but perhaps the lino did. And I can confirm, Denny, that the game has kicked off. We're off and underway. Good evening to Will, who said good evening back to me. Predicting a 2-1 win for the Blues. Too many people assuming we've won this before it's even started, though. Yeah, there've been quite a lot of confident Pompey fans, which is great to see. But at the same time, we need to be wary, don't we, of the fact that we might not be it might not be all one-way traffic this evening. As CREWE Alexandra, the team with possession at the moment, is Tom Lowry, who scored on 3 occasions and assisted 6 times in the centre of the heart of the CREWE Alexandra midfield. And here Harry Pickering can run away with it now and tries to beat Marcus Harness down that left-hand wing. Jack Watmore picks out a cross, sort of a ball up the pitch towards Ryan Williams now, who's only going to have to chase it down on Tom Lowry, who, as I said, has scored on 3 occasions this season. He's played 32 of the now 40 games of CREWE Alexandra's League One season. This is Luke Offord now. CREWE Alexandra playing from right to left at the moment. It's a ball long up the pitch, but that one's not going to trouble Callum Johnson too much. He's got options. He could have opted for Jack Watmore or even Craig McGilvery there. But the ball is now back with Charlie Kirk, 23-year-old. He's working his way down the left-hand side. It's been a bright spark for CREWE Alexandra this season. He scored 5 goals and assisted on 5 occasions. Jack Watmore's over there to make sure that Pompey are out of danger from a defensive point of view. Marquis rises the highest, but doesn't win the header. This is now down with Tom Naylor. Harry Pickering now for CREWE Alexandra. He's right down by this near touchline and will only get the ball as far as Jack Watmore, but they nearly conceded a corner in the process there. Craig McGilvery got over there quickly and managed to prevent it from crossing the line, and Pompey retained possession somehow through Callum Johnson, but that one's found Harry Pickering, and Pompey snatched it away through Charlie Daniels, who's going to work this one out the left-hand side. This is Ronan Curtis now, who cuts in field to Tom Naylor. That's Charlie Daniels on that far side. 4 minutes is on the clock. Ball in field to Ben Close. He's got Ryan Williams, who's making some space for him to play the ball. He opts to find Callum Johnson, who's in more of a wide position. Takes things over halfway for the visiting side. Charlie Kirk is back there on defensive duties. Ben Close plays a lovely ball to Ryan Williams, who's tried to thread a ball through to Marquis. It was a couple of yards behind him, and the Pompey centre-forward couldn't quite stop himself in his tracks to receive it. Charlie Daniels now. Pompey get things going on the other side of the pitch, and Ronan Curtis tries to nutmeg Anthony Evans, but he closes his legs just in time, and that one will be the first Pompey throwing on that far side of the evening, and Charlie Daniels is the man who will take it. And Daniels, very much so, is looking quick at the moment, and he's contributed to that little flurry of possession for Pompey down the left-hand side. In comes the subsequent throw-in, and Ryan Williams will get a ball in early, and Harness is the nearest to it, and only watch that one trickle away to Charlie Kirk's feet. He's going to try and prevent the corner from being conceded, and he does so. And eventually it's a long ball up the pitch from Luke Offord. Jack Watmore wins the header. Sean Raggett with the half volley booted forward towards Ronan Curtis. And this is now back with Charlie Daniels on halfway after a defensive header from CREWE. This is Ronan Curtis now, who looks to find Ben Close. And it's a ball through to Ryan Williams, and Ben Close is going to latch onto this one. Is he going to get there in time to keep the ball in play? He does just, and sort of utilises the corner flag to keep it in. Ronan Curtis, ball into the box. It's a chance and a header for Harness, and that one's going to be wide and behind. Keeper is absolutely distraught that he managed to even get the CREWE managed to concede the cross going in. It wasn't a terrible header from a Marcus Harness point of view. The connection was decent, accuracy was well off, execution spot on, and Harry Pickering was there as well just to try and muster them out of it. But Harness stood strong and managed to get the header on. The thumb goes up for the delivery from Ben Close that was preceded that. And it is now going to be Will Jacquelayan, who the 22-year-old Finnish. And he won't be doing many finishes this evening because he's in goal for the CREWE side. 6 minutes on the clock. It's a push from Sean Maggott, which the referee's not going to blow up on. He probably banks that one in the back of his mind, or he's thinking from Darren Drysdale's point of view that maybe the CREWE centre-forward needs to be stronger there, as Jack Watmore fires one to Marquis, who hasn't really won a ball yet this evening. The ball is now at his feet with the number 9, threads the ball through to Marcus Harness, working his way down the right-hand side. A ball flashes across, and Luke Offord's there just to prevent it from reaching Ryan Williams. It goes behind for a corner, and that was a decent move from Pompey, one of the best of the game so far. A really, really decent opportunity there. Marquis was influential, and it was a ball through. Hello, and Marcus Harness got it to Luke Offord, who's only played in 29 of the 40 games. He's scored a goal for CREWE this season. Had to prevent one from going in there, and the subsequent Pompey corner is going to be taken by Charlie Daniels on this near side. Ball goes in. 7 minutes has been played. Header is away from CREWE Alexandra. It was not really a Pompey body that was troubling that one. Anthony Evans has tried to concede the Pompey throw-in, but it will be Pompey's nonetheless. This is Ben Close now. Andrew's not at the Barbers. He'll be with us in just a moment. Ben Close is going to take the throw in for Pompey. Ronan Curtis is there, and it's actually going to be given over to Charlie Daniels, who's going to look to get a ball in early doors. If you're just joining us live on Fournilwrittenalloverit all over it, leave us a like, and that's a bit of a dodgy challenge that Darren Drysdale will more than blow up for as a high boot from Ronan Curtis, which has been neither here nor there in the Premier League this weekend. They can't quite make their mind up on the rule. It's going to require a little bit of attention, I believe. I believe it's Rio Adibisi, who's on the Adibisi, sorry, who's on the floor there. The 20-year-old has only played in 9, thank you, of the 40 games so far this season. Do you want to come and quickly say hello? He's just going to get changed. He's just got in from people asking if you've been at the Barbers, seeing as they've just reopened. He has, been getting his trim done. After there's a little bit of a pause in play at the moment. Nathan Wood-Gordon's watching. I think it's Rio Adibisi, who's receiving a little bit of treatment. Diving header from Harness is the best of the opportunities that Pompey have been allowed to have so far from a defensive point of view. It has been all action in this opening 8 minutes or two. It hasn't been a dull moment as of yet in terms of the opportunities that Pompey have had, and it's not been, it's not been a basketball game. It's not been end to end in the opening 8 minutes or so. I think there was a little bit of connection on Rio Adibisi's his head from Ronan Curtis. He is receiving a little bit of treatment from 2 of the CREWE medical team. Darren Drysdale just explaining to the CREWE Alexandra keeper what happened. It wasn't the best of challenges. Completely accidental from Ronan Curtis. He's looking to go for the ball. There won't be any subsequent disciplinary action on him, I wouldn't have thought, in terms of a yellow. He is looking okay to sit up Rio Adibisi. Hopefully he's going to be okay to carry on with this evening's game, as we are now 10 minutes in. That's already 2 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half this evening, as the sun continues to beat down on this Cheshire stadium, which still remains fanless at this moment in time, and 10 minutes is on the clock. We're going to see a bit of a replay of this, but it's more than Curtis's ball to go for here, and he just sort of goes up for it. Rio Adibisi's leading with his head there, and Darren Drysdale, the referee, was quite quick to get over to it and make the signal for the foul. He is now up on his feet, and Ronan Curtis offers his hand in sort of apology, really, and it's taken by Rio Adibisi rather reluctantly, to be honest. As the clock's now ticking over into 10 minutes, the medical team for CREWE are just having a look at his eyes, just check there's no concussion there, and I don't think he'll need to go off, the 20-year-old for CREWE Alexandra. It looks like he's going to have to go off for the obviously you have to go off if you're injured in a game, but he's going to have to go off anyway. The thinking will be that he will perhaps come on. He's just having a quick sip of water there. But he's going to have to go off, and whether a substitution will be made or not, I'm not sure whether that's going to need to happen. He's just going to, looks like he's only going off just to come off for a moment or two. He's taking a little bit of time. He's actually jogging off now, Rio Adibisi. So that's a good sign. Referee's going to allow Will Jackalinen to take the goal kick. He's just commanding a few orders forward, as the general consensus is from the players that they're going to move towards the halfway line, and this looks like it's going to be sent long from the keeper. 11 minutes now, so it's 3 minutes of a stoppage there from a CREWE and a Pompey point of view in the late afternoon sunshine. Ball is eventually delivered and is back in play. Tom Nader's closest to that one, and Jack Watmore's going to watch the header trickle back to Craig McGilvery, who very quickly rolls it out to Charlie Daniels on that far left-hand side, who's going to put one forward. And I believe, Adibisi is back on the pitch. 11.5 minutes on the clock. Sean Raggett plays a cross ball pass to Jack Watmore, who eventually fires one up towards the midway point, and Marquis is there left chasing once again, and it's Ryan Williams who's second best to it to Luke Offord, who's added a goal to his account in the last couple of weeks for CREWE Alexandra. And Charlie Daniels' ball forward is blocked by, I believe it's Anthony Evans, the 22-year-old on that far side, who's only played in 10 of the 40 games, so a quarter of his season out from the CREWE's starting 11 so far this campaign. He's only got 6 games left of it after this one this evening. Ball sent long by Charlie Daniels. He gets it straight back to him, actually, and it's going to be Owen Dale chasing the ball down the left-hand side, looking to get the better of Sean Raggett, but he's actually going to, referee's going to hold on for a moment, actually. I believe he's going to need to, Ryan Williams is perhaps, I don't know if he's been fouled, that's a little bit out of view from our vantage point here at the Alexandra Stadium, but he's had a knock to the head, I think, Ryan Williams, and I'm delighted to say that Andrew, as you can see, he's sort of entering in the background there, and that's Sean. So we'll take his picture off and get Andrews on there. Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Nice to have you with us. A little bit late this evening.
I've been working, mate. Some of us got to earn some money to pay for this stream.
Yes, absolutely,
Exactly, mate.
Although it comes out of my account, son. I don't get actually any contribution from my other significant other on the stream. I'll have you know. We're 13 minutes in. It's been a little bit of stoppage for a couple of injuries in the last couple of moments. Before that, we had eight minutes of almost end-to-end football from Pompey point of view. No, I can't because I won't be able to see the teams. It's a drop ball from. I'll move the screen for you. It's a drop ball into the box. And that one's also fallen right on his bum there at completely the wrong moment, Charlie Kirk, with the opportunity to get things going again from a CREWE point of view. He's got the ball at his feet now and works into the box, and it's going to be battered away eventually from Sean Raggett. It was almost a last-ditch sort of ditch from Sean Raggett eventually. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
Wonderful. 14 minutes is the time on the clock now, and here come CREWE Alexandra again, and Tom Lowry has found Charlie Kirk, and he puts his cross in, and that one's going to be battered away by the head of Jack Watmore initially. It wasn't a half-decent ball in, and Ryan Williams in a little bit of tussle with Tom Lowry on halfway, and he's chasing it all the way back to the keeper. 14 minutes has been played. Andrew, how do you see this one going this evening from a Pompey point of view?
Well, I don't see it at all, Tom, because you keep getting in the way. But, I fancy it. We've got Marquis back, haven't we? So I haven't seen the team, Tom, because I've been out, obviously working all day, and I've just got in. So I don't see the team lineup.
It's the same, apart from Marquis is in and Lee Brown is on the pitch as well. Sorry, Lee Brown is off the pitch and Charlie Daniels starts from the beginning. Obviously, Lee Brown took a little bit of a knock.
But who's Marquis coming for?
Marquis is, I believe, he's coming for. That's a very good question. Actually, I'm not sure who Marquis is coming for. I have to find that one out for you. But anyway, what about the spectacle of CREWE and what you think they'll bring to this one tonight?
Well, I think they'll need a win, Tom, don't they? They'll want to beat us because everyone does. So there'll be a big game for everyone against us, isn't it? And I think apart from the obvious teams, and even they see us as the big game, don't they? Even the Sunderlands and the Ipswiches and the Charltons of this planet, they all think is a big game against Pompey, and the smaller clubs like CREWE always want a piece of it as well, don't they? So I think it's a tough one.
Not an awful lot for them to play for this season either. Is that significant
for
you?
I think they've got to play for a bit of pride. If they've got nothing to play for, they're not under any pressure either, are they? So it's a two-way street. It's a double-edged sword, that one, because if you're not under any pressure to do anything, you're just playing for a bit of pride. Therefore, you knock it around a little bit more confidently, I think. You're not so stressed, are you? So sometimes it can work in your favour. This is a good attack, Tom.
Describe it then.
Well, I couldn't really see who was on the ball. I thought it was Callum Johnson down the right there, who just got in, went outside, pushed it down the line, and then whipped it in, and it just bounced off of their defender's head, went skyward, and then their keeper came and grabbed it. But otherwise, it would have been a proper attack there, I think.
A half decent one.
Yeah.
Sean Means to say good evening, Andrew. Nice to see you.
Good evening, the legend. Nice to see you too, buddy. It's one of them nights, isn't it? Another night. We've only got 2 more of these after tonight, so
we have.
And then hopefully that'll be the last Tuesday until we get back to Fratton Park. Tom.
Yes, interesting. Well, maybe not for the playoffs. We'll do our very best to be there for that one. Hopefully that's confirmed in the next couple of weeks. It's a ball over the top from Harry Pickering that troubled Sean Raggett slightly. Craig McGilvery also, but it will eventually be a goal kick for Craig to take. He's taken quite a few of those. And I was mentioning in the first half, at least, Craig seemed dazzled by the late afternoon sun in Cheshire, Andrew, tonight. But
yeah, remarkably, Tom, like this time of the season when the sun's low, I don't know why keepers, especially McGilvery, he got a cap to hand just in case, you know?
Yeah, it does look like
he's got a thing about having his hair done nicely. But
it does look like it's quite a strong old sun. But I said at the top of the commentary that Actually, it'll be probably worse for the
Raggett's in the box. My God,
it'll probably be worse for the opposite number, the keeper in the opposite dugout, because they're going to be having the sun even later, perhaps, and it might even be lower down and cause a little bit more of chaos for them.
Yeah.
17 minutes is the time on the clock. However, we've only really played sort of 13-14 minutes, and Marquis was got a deflection on that one. Oh no, he didn't actually. He didn't touch the ball. He just applied a little bit of pressure, and Curtis is going to take the throw in quickly. Probably on another occasion would have left that one to Charlie Daniels, but ball isn't played nonetheless. And Curtis now got it at his feet, and he's going to try and muscle off the challenge coming in. And Darren Drysdale, the referee's blown up for a free kick in favour of Ronan Curtis. Good news is, Andrew, that this team has come off the back of a 6-0 battering from Oxford United at the weekend, and hopefully
there as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was actually, and you can sort of factor that into consideration when you're approaching this one if you're Danny Cowley, perhaps.
Well, I think you probably do, but you also teams like that normally come out of the dressing room afterwards with a bit of a slap, don't they? And I think they would probably not want to concede those 6 again. Oh,
header in, and
if that didn't feel to Raggett, that was 1-0.
I'll tell you about it. That subsequent free kick's just been taken, and Sean Raggett was the nearest to it. He's still running like he's got a pole stuffed up the back of his shirt, and it's Charlie Daniels with a lovely ball in. Raggett, all on his own.
That is a simple nod in, Raggett. What is wrong with you?
He was. He does head wide from a. It was a superb delivery.
Not being funny, mate. That was the best opportunity I've seen for Raggett ever in my life, and he puts it wide.
Well, it was a defensive header, wasn't it? Very much a defensive header.
Well, then don't send him up for it. And if he can't head the ball, why put him in there?
I think the words of Danny Cowley mentioning sort of his stance on things, so that he likes to have his players who can operate in a variety of different roles, and it's simply that's going to be a pullback on Ben Close there that Darren Drysdale's going to give to Pompey. That one's going to be taken again, and it might be a yellow card actually brandished for.
He's a giant.
It is going to be. It's going to be a yellow card for Tom Lowry. It's interesting from Darren Drysdale, who is the man. I don't know if you saw the video a while ago, Andrew, but he's a man who had a bit of a facade with Alan Young of Ipswich Town. If you saw it, they went head to head with each other.
Oh yeah, I heard. He's the man, is he?
He's the man, yeah, and he's back refereeing. I don't know how long he's been for, but he had a bit of a discipline from the FA.
Frickin' hell! Don't give it to Raggett again.
It's a real shame that you want to play him out of the game.
The man's dangerous, Mush.
Dangerous in terms of letting goals. He's a liability.
He's a liability, and I don't care what Cowley says, or anybody says, or even Jacket for that matter, or anybody says. There's nothing about that man that tells me he should be a footballer.
Not even his run. No,
it's just like he's on the ball and you panic. You know?
Yeah. No, I know, and that is quite. It's quite.
Yeah,
here we go. Marquis is through. We'll come back to that in just a moment. This is a decent opportunity, and how when you're playing League One football, it's your first game back. You cannot be.
No, that's pathetic. You cannot find yourself.
You cannot catch yourself offside. No, you can't, which is ridiculous. But welcome back to the side anyway, John Marquis, and hopefully he can provide a little bit of a catalyst for what is to come for Pompey from our point of view. And
so who is out for him then, Tom? Somebody?
I couldn't actually find out. It just said Marquis. I'm trying to rack my brains. I think it's probably
Harness is playing, is he?
Harness is playing. I think Ryan Williams is on the pitch as well. I think it's Andy Cannon, I believe, who was replaced by Harvey White. Ball goes in from CREWE. It's a dangerous header, that one. Best opportunity they've had all game by a long shot.
There was no challenge on that, Tom.
There wasn't any challenge on that. We're going to get the opportunity to watch it again. It's the ball in from the previously injured Rio Adebisi. It's actually fallen to Anthony Evans to deliver the ball in. It's a glancing header, free header from Tom Lowry. He's only recently gone into the book. It's not a bad opportunity, and probably one of the. It is Cannon. There you go. Cannon's been dropped for the return of John Marquis, and you know he didn't have the best game on Saturday, did he? Although the sort of result meant that you wouldn't really give any Pompey player, any particular plaudits for their performance on Saturday. But after the impact of a super sub, Andy Cannon drops to the bench and will be replaced, and has been replaced, and is being replaced by Johnny Marquis, which Danny Cowley was sort of a bit not promiscuous. That's ambiguous. That's the one I'm looking for. Definitely not promiscuous.
No.
About the
it might be. We don't know.
Whether or not, and John Marquis would be playing, and the talk about the injections that he's had, and perhaps that was just to stifle CREWE's preparation for this one, perhaps. And there's a little bit of a Jurgen Klopp like, he might play, he might not play sort of thing.
We don't need to declare your hand, do you?
No, you don't. You don't need to say no, he's definitely starting. But the more
you don't, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's absolutely right. What more now? Headers forward for Marquis and Ryan Williams. You would have thought that Marquis would have had a bit of pre-warning. We would have known for quite a few days, probably even from the weekend, maybe after the comments from, that's a decent block from Harness, who prevents the ball from firing long up the pitch, and it will be a CREWE throw-in on this near touchline, which is where, when we were there quite a few years ago now, Andrew, over 5 years ago, would you believe, when Pompey users said, "Well done, boys," and we were at the Alexandra Stadium. It's where the
last time we played there.
No, last time we were there. Wasn't the last time we played there? I'll tell you in a moment or two. And as Anthony Evans plays one in for CREWE, and Jack Watt was alert to it and manages to get his head on it, and it's going to be a ball out the right-hand side to Callum Johnson to march forward with it. 23.5 minutes has been played. We're over the halfway mark in this opening first half. Drysdale's going to blow up for a free kick. Oh no, he's not. He's going to play advantage, and Marcus Harness pokes one through to Marquis, edge of the 18-yard box. It's a dodgy first touch, and he had opposition in the shape of Nathan Wood-Gordon there, the 18-year-old on the experienced League One stalwart John Marquis. It's going to be a foul for CREWE Alexandra committed by Ben Close on the touchline. Not a bad chance for Marquis there, Andrew.
He's got to do a little bit better for me than that, Tom, even though he's a bit rusty. He should have just... he's got to be quicker, isn't he? He seems to be taking a little bit too much time on that particular occasion.
We're live across Fournilwrittenalloverit this evening. If you're just joining us, drop the stream a like. Thank you for being with us for the slightly earlier kickoff this evening. We got things going at 5 o'clock this evening. We're going to be with you until perhaps 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30, depending on how much we've got to discuss at the end of this one. The CREWE free kick is delivered long and further across halfway, and Charlie Kirk got a decent touch on it, and Callum Johnson's just going to back out of that one for Tom Naylor to take precedent of, and ball fires forward across halfway, and Ryan Williams will try to latch onto that one. He's just second best, and and as Andrew's quite rightly said, if he wins that, he's only got the keeper to beat, really, Ryan Williams, with sort of half a pitch or so to make up of ground. Callum Johnson on this near touchline is going to take the subsequent throw in for Pompey. Marcus Harness is the recipient, straight back to Callum Johnson, and Ryan Williams plays a nice little triangle with Harness. Will look to get his cross in early, does so, flashing across the box, and Marquis is nearest to it. The nearest to it was actually Will Jacalayan, the 22-year-old Finnish goalkeeper. He's kept 5 clean sheets in 40 games. Well, 39 before this evening.
He held that well, Tom.
He did, and he got down quickly to it, didn't he? There's an empty CREWE Alexandra Stadium. With all due respect to CREWE fans, I don't think there'd be not an awful lot of difference whether it's empty or not if they didn't have away fans in. Tom Lowry. This is Nathan Wood-Gordon, not renowned for the being the best of supporters, are they, CREWE?
The number of times I've been there, Tom, they've never had any atmosphere at all. It's just sort of it's half empty most of the time, isn't it? Apart from the away end where we are.
Good evening to Paul. Welcome along to the stream, mate. Hope you're doing really well. Welcome. Thank you for being with us. Sorry, as you were.
Just saying it's a dead stadium when there's just the away fans singing. There's nothing that CREWE give us support, is it? It's not a very, very nice place to watch football, really, is it? It's a non-league type ground, isn't it? The big stand on the far side there, but that's all the rest of it is.
Ben Close now. Referee's going to play advantage from a challenge behind him. Ronan Curtis is on the near touchline and will try and work the ball past Nathan Wood-Gordon. And can he do so? No, he can't. It's sort of a bit of a push from behind him, Ronan Curtis, that he wouldn't have been expecting. 26.5 minutes is on the clock as the ball is fired forward to Sean Raggett, who doesn't convincingly take charge of that one. Loses out. Owen Dale is the man who's got the possession back for CREWE. And now Charlie Kirk will look to get his shot away, or will he go on the overlap as his option is Harry Pickering?
This is stemmed from
back to Charlie Kirk. Ball goes in.
and it's a decent opportunity for a header. And
worst case, why again? I'm not gonna. It's not a kill Raggett night, but why didn't he just put that?
It sounds like it is.
Why did he put it into touch? Why is he messing with 2 players around him? It just makes me worry. Why the manager's seeing the man? Not to be too controversial, but my goodness me, it's shocking, isn't it?
Nearly half an hour played now. CREWE Alexandra working their way through the centre of midfield. Harry Pickering's the man on the ball, finds Charlie Kirk. Marcus Harness is the nearest white shirt to it. Ball is eventually sent aloft, and Charlie Daniels will win that one. Down to Curtis, who wins the subsequent one. Tom Naylor goes in with a foot. Jack Mortmore goes in with a head, and he loses out. Referee's going to say no challenge on that one. That was perfectly fair enough football. Ben Close has just missed out slightly there, and he puts his team under a bit of pressure. And Sean Raggett's conceded the foul in a bit of a rubbish position there. And it actually is going to be a yellow card for Sean Raggett, who's not had the best of evenings in a Pompey shirt this evening.
I'd get him off the pitch now. But I would get him off the pitch, Tom.
And get Nicolaisen on, perhaps.
Why is he playing him? He's half injured. He's half a footballer. And he's now on a yellow card. It's a situation. He's late for that tackle. It's a situation where we could end up in 10 minutes.
Later than you were for the game with that challenge.
Yeah, it could be down to 10 minutes in a minute. Change it now. Get him off the pitch. He's a liability, especially now he's on a yellow.
And playing such an important role, actually, Sean Raggett, in terms of the defensive situation that he has to that he has to deal with, and also the Cowleys have said that Rasmus is the more attacking player and perhaps defensively stronger, and I think we all share that point of view. But nonetheless, Sean Raggett is the man who retains his place in the side.
Amazing.
And John Marquis is having a word with Darren Drysdale about something. And I've just realised we're just connected to the Bluetooth speaker in the kitchen, so I'm just going to turn that off. And Sean, Retro Shirt Sean, has said, Andrew is speaking so much sense. Well, that makes a change for a while, doesn't it?
Thank you, Retro. Nice to see you tonight, my friend.
Hopefully we'll be able to... He's not going to quite make... is he ill? That was the next comment.
No, you have to bring me down to that level. I'm not going to lower myself to your level, Retro. I'm not going to respond to that and retaliate. I'm not going to do any of that.
No, he's not in that frame of mind this evening. Sunderland have taken the lead in the game that's also kicked off at the same time as us. That's 33 minutes in on that one, and they have the lead at the DW Stadium inside the first 30 minutes or so. It is going to be a substitution here for CREWE Alexandra, and you would have thought from a Pompey point of view that they'd be doing the treatment off the pitch for Rio Adebisi, and we can carry on with the game as the CREWE manager.
You expect the referee to tell him to get off the pitch.
Gary Artell was in deep conversation with Darren Drysdale. Does it look like there's going to be any change in circumstances for the man on the deck? And Darren Drysdale's just happy to sort of stand around and wait for him to get off the pitch, which I think is slightly unfair. I think because they're in possession, CREWE, they've sort of got the luck of the draw, as it were, in terms of them being on the ball, and therefore they can't, go on and Pompey would have more of a case to make if we had possession. But at this moment in time, it is a foul that Pompey have committed, and it's nice that Danny Cowley's just trotted over to give CREWE Alexandra's number 5 will be coming onto the pitch shortly. A bit of a shake of the hand to come on. Sean Meter said, get Curtis and Raggett off. I understand the Raggett, Sean. I'm not quite sure about Curtis. I wonder what his viewpoint on that one is. It's an early substitution.
Well, I think the legend should explain himself.
I think he probably should as
Raggett's
well.
off, yes, but I don't understand why he's talking about Curtis. Curtis is not getting the ball because they're not passing it to him. He can't do a lot without the ball. He can only make himself space, can't he?
I think we're going to have quite a lot of added time at the end of this first period of 45 minutes or so, as it's actually I believe it's Daniels that's come onto the pitch. Sorry, for CREWE, that is, not Pompey, and this is the free kick that'll be taken by Harry Pickering, just 25 yards out or so. Referee's keeping an eye on the wall as the ball goes in, and it's going to be deflected and behind. Craig McGilvery was going to be over to it should it have needed saving in the first place. First corner, I believe, of the evening is definitely on that side. I think it came off the head of Ronan Curtis, actually, and Craig McGilvery claps his players for their defensive duties.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying, legend? If Curtis was off the pitch, mate, that might have been 1-0.
Perhaps, but the agreement's coming from Chris Mahoney in the comments, who said that Curtis is greedy with his football.
Yeah, all most strikers are, Tom.
Okay, fair play.
I don't think Marquis is any less greedy, or even Harness for that point. I think there's occasions when they do knock it to someone that's going to tap it in, and there's lots of occasions when they want to steal the glory.
Do you think Curtis manifests it slightly more than other players would? We'll get back to that in a moment. It's a decent opportunity in the box for Owen Dale, who had far too much space from a Pompey point of view to spin and get his shot away. And it'll be another corner on that far side for CREWE. And having had none for the majority of the game, have now got two in quick succession, as Callum Johnson had to stick a leg in front of the shot that came in from Dale. The 22-year-old who scored on 8 occasions, came a little bit close to making it 9, and that one's going to be a little bit easier from a Pompey point of view. And arms go in the air as the CREWE and Pompey players protest that it's their ball. It was actually a goal kick for Craig McGilvery, and the referee got that one right there, but it wasn't the best of corners there from CREWE. They'd done the hard work beforehand in order to win it, and the chance that led to the corner was better than the corner itself on this occasion, Andrew, as both hands went in the air. Delivery came in, and it was, I believe, the number 28, Luke Murphy, the 31-year-old, who tried to sort of latch it over the top, and it eventually ended up as a Craig McGilvery goal kick that's since been taken and into touch, and it will be a Pompey throw-in that Charlie Daniels is going to go and retrieve a ball on that far touchline. 33 and a bit minutes into this one now. And so far, it remains goalless here at the Alexandra Stadium. Gresty Road, not Gressley Road, which I've been saying it wrong for quite some time. But it's Gresty Road, live from Cheshire here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. We're not in Cheshire, but we're live broadcasting the action, relaying it to you from Cheshire. If you're just joining us, it'd be great if you could drop the stream a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you're brand new to this sort of thing. It'd be really great if you could do that for us. We'd very much appreciate it, as 35 minutes is now on the clock, and it will be another CREWE throwing on that far side now. There's not been an awfully exciting spectacle so far, Andrew, from a Pompey perspective. 10 minutes to go until the break, and not an awful lot to write home about, to be honest. CREWE were the better of the chances in the last couple of moments or so, you would probably say.
Yeah, I think we need to get our game together a little bit, Tom. Don't we?
Go up a gear, perhaps, is what's needed.
Start playing our football a little bit. I think CREWE, obviously, as we've said, are bruised, aren't they, from the weekend? So they're doing everything they can to stop us, aren't they? But they're not. To be fair to them, they're having a go. They're attacking and they're playing some football.
It almost mirrors Wigan, doesn't it, on Easter Monday, in terms of the first half, where Wigan had quite a few opportunities, and perhaps less so from a CREWE point of view.
We're doing much better than this lot.
Well, I know, but you wouldn't say that CREWE would out and out deserve to be a goal or two up, but they
don't deserve to be a goal down either, do they?
No, exactly. And perhaps a 0-0 if we go in at half time like this would be a fair reflection of the game. Pompey have had 59, nearly 60% of the possession.
Giving that ball away to, why is he giving it that? Oh.
And it's now puts Pompey in a bit of a hole, near 0 shots on target for either side.
He just taps the ball out to Close, and Close has got 3 players.
Raggett is his own worst enemy, isn't he?
Yeah. Why would you give it to him?
Yeah.
He's a great player, being Close, but nobody's got 3 players around him. It's suicide. What a dick.
It's Tom Naylor now. Ben Close. I apologise on Andrew's behalf for the language. Ryan Williams out on this right-hand side. You can't say that on the stream, can you? There's children watching, including you, because you act like one. Marcus Harness on this right-hand side, twisting and turning away for his man, Harry Pickering. Ball goes in. It's a dangerous one, and Curtis wasn't on it. Should have been. Should have been. And it's just going to trickle out for a goal kick from a CREWE point of view. But as you said, should be on that one like a car bonnet. Absolutely. And it's probably been the sorry, I've just seen a comment from Sean that said better check Raggett's Bet365 account after the debacle that Rasmus Nikolaisen had. Can I interest you in a jammy dodger, by the way?
No, because you got food to eat.
You got food, okay, no problem. Are you going to shoot off at half time? I would have thought.
It's going to come in
Or,
here, I think.
oh, it's going to come in here. That's not a problem then. That's fine. Yeah, but be interested to see if Raggett's actually betting on conceding a goal, because he looks like he's doing all he possibly can to do so. Ryan Williams has ended up on the floor once again. Referee's going to say play on, and Nathan Wood-Gordon's got no other option but to go back to his keeper. Jack Watmore's the header that is the first man to meet that ball, and Marcus Harness has the ball at his feet. Now it's taken away from him by Harry Pickering.
They're quick to stop us play. They're quick to they're quick with the tackles, aren't they? They're not messing around, Crewe. They've obviously had a slap, haven't they, to say, look, you've got to close these boys down quick, and they're doing that, especially Harness. And to be fair, Curtis, they close them down quickly. Even that ball with that stray ball that we've passed to Ben Close just now. There were 3 players on him straight away, so they've tidied it up a little bit defensively, I think, haven't they? But they had to, of course, because that shock of the 6-0.
Yeah, it was a shock to the system for this Crewe side, and as we said on Saturday, there'll be a team that are hurting, and that has really manifested itself in front of us.
Pressure as well, isn't he? So
yeah, exactly.
He's want a response out of their team, isn't he?
He's going to be under pressure, but his team have only managed to muster a mid-table position. They're 10 points behind Pompey, 10 places below them in the league at this moment in time. So. And obviously we share the points this evening, so that remains the case. So I'm not sure actually if 10 places is still the case because of other results elsewhere in League One this evening. That might change come the end of the season. It will change come the end of the season probably, but come the end of the evening, most definitely. 38 minutes now. We're edging towards that halftime whistle. I'm expecting sort of 5 or 6 minutes to be added on at the end of this one, and Crewe mustering the ball back and looking very clever and cute with their possession at the moment. As Sam came on earlier on, Andrew, and he's. Bless him, he had a bit of a heavy night last night. And Sam Art, 4-0 Sam. And
because the pub's open.
Yeah, and
so he went for it.
He went for it, and I don't think he'll be watching now, so I'm quite sort of safe in saying that
gone to bed, I expect.
Well, he's probably gone to bed, but he didn't look the most awake of people that I've seen today.
Well,
he wasn't. Well, he was talking like that, but he also looked much more oriental than he would normally.
Oh, right. Normally look. What time did he get in? Something's crazy.
Probably something crazy, but the reason why I bring it up is that he mentioned that automatics were well and truly out of Pompey's reach now, and although they aren't mathematically impossible with a 6-game streak of games following this one this evening, the general consensus, I believe, from Pompey fans at the moment is that the automatics are out of reach. And it would more be a pleasant surprise, perhaps, should we make it there. I wonder where you stand right now on that situation.
Tom, as long as it's mathematically possible.
I knew you'd say that, yeah.
I don't think we can dismiss any possibilities. The only thing I would say is, since my announcement that we're going to finish in the autos,
it's gone against you a little bit, hasn't it?
It's gone against me as much as the teams I didn't expect to carry on winning as much as they have above us.
Can I just come across you? Wigan have actually equalised against Sunderland in the other early kickoff this evening. So it's now Wigan 1, Sunderland 1.
This is what I'm saying. So this is the turning point tonight, where we beat this lot, and the other teams around us drop points, and then, with 6 games to go after this one, I think.
6 after this, yeah.
Yeah, it's still 18 points to play for, isn't it?
It's a lot of points. It's still a lot of points.
Yeah, and we've said, we've got to beat teams like this, though. We cannot just...
Marquis has got a decent opportunity here, and he's sorry to cut across you, but we'll focus on the action when it comes to us. And Callum Johnson has played a nice 1-2, and there'll be a push on Ben Close's back when the referee's not going to give anything for that one. Pompey remain in possession, though. Ben Close has got back up off his feet and received the ball from Callum Johnson. He's going to have to work back a little bit. Finds a lovely ball through to Harness, and that one was just headed back in. Charlie Daniels with
put that in the railway junction.
He's almost put that in Crewe train station next door, actually, Charlie Daniels.
It was actually the other end, Crewe train station.
It is the other end, but anyway. There's
there are train lines there, though,
I think, it's quite a big old junction, Crewe, isn't it?
Yeah.
As Sean Mead said earlier, lovely train museum in Crewe.
He's quite right, yeah.
Yeah. So
the last time we went to Crewe, we nearly went there rather than watch the football, didn't we?
Oh yeah, no, we really considered it. We deliberated it actually quite heavily in the car. It was a bit of a wild shot there from Charlie Daniels. So
I fancy Wigan to beat Sunderland tonight, Tom, because to be fair to Wigan, I think
we actually thought they looked really good, didn't we?
I did think they're very good
against
side,
us.
Yeah, very good side.
Mm.
I think we were lucky to get away with that one, albeit we've been unlucky to lose some of the other games, like last weekend.
To Pompey run the risk of this game, to me, it's going to be a very long phrase, but go with it. If we go a goal down, we might struggle to get back in it, written all over it. I wonder how you see that.
No, I don't think they're a real threat, Tom. They had a couple of half chances, aren't they? They're not a very good.
But because of the sort of the general tempo of the game, it hasn't been
I don't think
the sharpest,
we haven't
has
done
it?
enough to be leading, have we? But we've done a lot of passing, not a fancy.
Close,
football,
fires one over to the right-hand
close.
side. Cannon Johnson gets himself in a good position, finds Ryan Williams, who's going to look to perhaps get a shot away or even a cross in. He'll opt to find Tom Nader, Pompey captain, and that one. It's, as Andrew's reaction suggests, that's not the
Well, he's won it back, though.
that's not Tom Nader's finest pass of the night, but he has indeed won it back, and I think we've lost you there for a moment. It is a good ball in, Charlie Daniels, and that's going to be a Pompey corner. I'm just going to refresh you ever so slightly. I'm also going to change your Wi-Fi as well. Not yours particularly, but the stream on your
it's good football there,
your
Tom.
computer. You can still talk. We can still hear you.
It's excellent football from Pompey there.
Looks good.
Pass it, move, pass, move, and move into space, and that's what they've been doing. This could be. I don't like corners and think we're going to score from a corner, because you look at the set pieces, how many we score from, especially as the Ragged Nation's up there going to nod it in. I'll be surprised if he does.
Mm.
Oh my word!
It nearly was as well. It was a close one. Oh my word! We've got two Andrews. That's not the best news, is it? Let's take away Frozen Andrew and leave you with just two Andrews. You're back in now, mate. Thanks for being back with us.
That was Andrew, Tom.
Sorry, we did have two Andrews. Two Andrews is better than no Andrews. John Marquis now lays off Ryan Williams. Decent opportunity for him to get a ball in, and in goes the ball, and this Marquis is too slow to it.
He didn't even try. Marcus at least challenged the keeper. Put your thumb up to say thanks for the good ball.
It's been neither here nor there from Pompey, and it hasn't been the best first half performance.
They played all right. It's just not threatening.
It's definitely not the most exciting spectacle that we've been treated to, and I think the most exciting chance of the evening we've had was that we had two Andrews. That was quite a big. And Dave Bruce raised an interesting point. Thanks for your comment, Dave. He said no two halves are the same with the Cowleys. I've learned that over the years. I wonder, because it's quite true actually what you're saying there, Dave, because it has always been no two halves are the same. I don't know how you see it, mate, but that's been the case for us, hasn't it?
I think the reason for that, Tom, is they actually read the game very well. So at half time, it's a different game regardless. If we're losing, it's a different game. If we're winning, it's a different game. Because they work out what to do, and therefore we play differently in the second half. And that's a crazy statement to make, but it's a true one.
And the reason why I said if we go a goal down, it might be hard to get back into. I can confirm they're going to be 6 minutes added on at the end of this one as well, boys and girls. They will park the bus and more. They will more than park the bus. Sorry. Oh, they will park more than the bus. What else are they going to park? The trains?
Well, I think what's happening is that the crew are trying to null us out of playing football. They're certainly closing us down quickly, and they know we're a threat.
It's going to be a foul in a decent position that Marquis wins for Pompey, and we are now just inside the first minute of the 6. I'm not sure if the referee Darren Drysdale is going to produce a card. No, he's not. He's just going to produce his spray. But that's all we've got for now. And Ronan Curtis is lining this one up, and Darren Drysdale is going to take the rudimentary 10 paces back in order to draw a line out for the sole Crewe defender, it's not a defender, he's a centre forward in the shape of Charlie Kirk, but he's back there doing defensive duties, which tells you everything you need to know in terms of the way Crewe have set up this evening. Delivery goes in, it's a decent chance, and I thought that one might trickle in the back of Will Jackalian's net. Decent opportunity. It was actually Jack Watmore nearest to it, and that should be referee a corner on this near side. It is going to be, and it's Charlie Daniels who's taking it. Hello to Alpar Akatepe from Turkey. Welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you're well. Ball goes in. Another decent opportunity from a header. Oh, that's got to go in, surely. And no, still loose in the box. Ryan Williams on the end of that one.
That's a great chance.
It was a really good chance. It's one of those where it's just loose in the box. And you just
men in the box,
and any sort of just someone coming in to get a strike on it, reminiscent of Ben Close's goal against Blackpool. Charlie Daniels header goes in quite a few seasons back. That one now. and that could have been Ronan Curtis's opportunity to do as Andrew demanded of him. Ball goes in from Close, and it's not a good one. He's going to receive it straight back out. So it was a bit of a push there from Ben Close. Referee's probably knows what he's doing there, Ben Close. He just realised it's a leaping header from Raggett down to Marquis on the touchline. It was. Again, all it needed was someone to approach it, hammer it. Could have gone anywhere and perhaps in the back of the net. One of those ugly ones that you might score in a game like this. I was very glad you see that from Darren Drysdale. Just watch the ball come down. He headed it on to where it should be. I don't know if anyone will pick up that and post it over social media. A bit of a funny little situation from the referee. Real scramble in the box there, though, Andrew, and a decent opportunity for Pompey. And Dominic, you can sit with us and watch along live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit all over it. Alternatively, it's £10 for the privilege on iFollow. Ball goes over the top to CREWE ALEXANDRA, who are in the box again and almost find themselves in a mirrored situation to what Pompey had at that point in time just a moment or two ago, and Marcus Harness has fired one out into touch. This is going to be Charlie Kirk to receive it, perhaps on the near side. Tom Lowry's there as well. It is eventually going to be Lowry back to Harry Pickering, who eventually threw the ball back in, but no, it's not. It's a ball in, and Jack Watmore sends it right back where it came from, and Cannon Johnson eventually fires one up the pitch towards halfway. That one's received by Nathan Wood-Gordon. He wasn't under an awful lot of pressure from any white shirts, and Williams has done excellently well to win that one back. And Harness, that's got to be a foul and perhaps a card for Luke Offord there, and it will be from the referee. It's a cynical challenge from him, almost a rugby tackle right in front of the camera here at Gresty Road. It's a couple of little minor offences that Luke Offord has incurred in the evening, and Darren Drysdale's probably well aware of that in his head. He's going to let play carry on quite quickly from Tom Naylor. Here's a yellow card for Luke Offord in the 4th minute of added time here. Marcus Harness back to Williams, who's in a decent shooting opportunity. Opts to thread Marquis through, and it's the first real shot on target from the number 9 for Pompey as he's back in the side this evening. Could be back amongst the goals. Nearly was there, Andrew. It was a decent opportunity. Bit more power, a little bit of lift, and perhaps that's 1-0.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, Tom, I think their keeper is a very, very good keeper. He's from Finland, I think, but he's obviously getting into the English league at lower levels. But I think he's looking a bit difficult to beat. Was he there on Saturday when Oxford put 6 past him?
I believe he probably was. Yeah. I think he's played. I think he's played the majority of the games so far this season. How
Oxford put 6 past him?
Well,
I don't know, because he looks half decent.
I think once it gets to sort of 2 or 3 and you're a dominant side, then
you try to get back in it. I suppose,
and you leave yourself wide open at the back,
and you get lucky with another 3.
You can imagine CREWE haven't looked the most solid defensively, have they? Even at 0-0, so you can imagine when the floodgates start to open and they start to go for it, they might end up sort of, letting a few goals in the back door, and eventually you end up with 6, don't you? 5 minutes on the clock, and it's a header on from Raggett, and he did get a crucial touch on that one actually. And Craig McGilvery's he actually would be able to pick that one up because it came off the head of Sean Raggett if he needs to. He's not going to need to. He's going to find Jack Watmore, who's the nearest Pompey player to him. 5 minutes to be played now. Sorry, 5 minutes has been played. 1 minute to play in added time here at Gresty Road, and it hasn't been a bore 0-0 draw, but it hasn't been the most.
He's taking forever on this. Come on, McGilvery.
It hasn't been the most invigorating first half of League One football that we'll see all season. Perhaps that will change for the second period. And as a comment from Dave said a while ago, that perhaps we could be looking at a totally different second half performance. And
I think probably the pace we're playing at, CREWE are going to get tired unless they've got a fitness regime like we've got. Because I was talking to a Leicester fan earlier in the week.
In
fact, yesterday, who.
It's ready.
Okay,
and
5 minutes will be out.
I tell you what, you can go, Andrew, if you want.
Yeah, just tell the story about have you eaten tonight?
No, I've eaten. I'm fine.
CREWE. Leicester guy was telling me that when Cowleys were at Lincoln, just up the road from Leicester, obviously, he said one of his mates is one of the senior people at Lincoln, and they said that they were really impressed with. He said that he thought that the Cowleys would get us up this season because the way the brilliant tactically, and he said he can't fault them. So you can't argue that from a Leicester fan who's been around a bit and been there when they've won the
Yeah, sure. Good evening to Ollie Ward, who's a Leeds fan. He's Andrew's favourite Leeds fan, and he's noticed the trim. I don't know if you noticed yours or mine, to be honest, but that's something that we perhaps need to question. Halftime whistle's gone here at Gressy Road. Thanks for joining us, Ollie. Lovely to see you in the stream, mate, and yeah, great to see you with us. Andrew, if you want to shoot and go and eat your dinner, you are more than welcome to.
Say hello to the boys, Tom.
Yeah, we'll bring Brendan and Mike into the stream for you. Good evening to you both. You can stick around for the moment if you want to, and just sort of give us your point of.
Smell the menudo out there. Starving.
We'll go just quickly give us your point of view on what you've seen in that first half, and that can build on to what the chat will say.
Give their point of view, Tom. I've done enough talking, I think. So I think give them the time. I don't really
ask them a question then, and then you're free to go.
What do you think, guys? What do you think of that this evening?
Well, I'm not impressed at the moment, particularly. It's not been a very good half, I don't think. I think we've been under the cosh quite a bit. I think the ball's been in our box more than it has theirs. And we're reverting to some of the old tactics of long balls. Long ball, long ball, long ball. And if it's not, it's being passed across the back of the box. And I'm a little bit concerned at how deep we are when we're passing this. Why we seem to be frightened to play the ball through the park. We're not creating space, are they not? Marquis is back in the team. Long balls are back in the game. Is that how he plays? Why? I thought he wants it to feet. So why are we doing these long balls again? Sorry, I've not been totally impressed. One good chance and one half chance. They've had more than us.
Which is poor from our point of view, isn't it? Against a CREWE side who lost 6-0 at the weekend, Brendan.
No, exactly. It's not been really good enough at all. I think we're sort of lacking anything sort of like anywhere on the park, really. In the midfield, mainly, I think. But Ben Close is going backwards quite a lot, and Naylor's doing his misplaced passes at the moment as well. Harness and Williams sort of down this close right-hand side haven't particularly impressed me really either. Unfortunately, Ronan hasn't really got in the game, and Charlie Daniels isn't getting forwards. I don't think he's not getting it up there enough. I think because Guy Whittingham and Andy Moon said on commentary as well that Charlie's not pushing on enough. And unfortunately, we're not getting the ball to Marquis. That's our problem as well. I think
on the ground,
yeah. I think a lot of times as well, I've noticed when we cross, Guy Whittingham said it as well. I massively agree with him. When Callum Johnson gets to cross into the box, there's like two men in there. So we need to get more in the box. Like I appreciate there's not much height really in our forward line at all. Really, I wouldn't class Marquis as tall because I'm probably taller than him. You know, I'm 6'1". You know, even Naylor pushing forwards and trying to get on the end of something. You know, maybe not just always close.
There is no play from Pompey between the halfway line and the edge of their box. There is no play. There's nothing in the middle of that park at all. Yeah. It's all over the top again. And if we try and go down the sides, it's not working. The boys on the wings are not working properly in the way that we would expect wingers to play. So that middle third of the park between the halfway and the edge of the box is dead. I haven't seen a shot from outside the box for a long time from anybody.
A little bit of pleasant news is that Wimbledon are 1-0 up against Ipswich. So I won't be hearing certain Mr. Griffin for quite a few hours this evening, which is probably a bit of a blessing in disguise. Aaron, your thoughts on Pompey so far this evening, and perhaps 2-0 now. Crikey, Wimbledon are 2-0 up against Ipswich. My word. There we go. Not smiling. I'm not smiling. Aaron, Pompey are sort of. Are they their own best enemy, own worst enemy? Sorry, at this moment in time.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Crowleys have underestimated CREWE. They've seen the result from Saturday and think, 6-0, we should be able to do this. But he's got his tactics wrong today. This long ball, I can't stand the long ball. Play to feet. When you're playing it to your feet and everything, we play some lovely football. But it's just like carry on playing how we have been for the last 5 games. And then just practice that final third. I thought that was the only thing he was doing in training, but I can't understand this long ball. It's just ridiculous. And some of the players are going back to their old ways and everything. I thought we got rid of some of that. I thought the players were supposed to be actually stepping up. And the last few weeks and everything's been fantastic, but it just seems we're going backwards. So we need to be very, very careful But we're going to see what the Crowley's managerial tactics are like now, because this second half is a must-win. There's no doubt about it. We cannot draw. We have to win this now.
And just to build on what you said there, Aaron, I said it in commentary. I don't know if anyone was with us at that point, but this could be, if we go a goal down, we might struggle to get back into it, written all over it. Perhaps even if they score, and I know you say it's important to score straight off the break, but worst case scenario, CREWE might score straight after the break, and then it's a big old mountain to climb, isn't it?
Yeah, if they do score, our heads are just going to drop big time. And then then it'd be the 2 games on the bounce that we've lost. And then the players are going to go back to what they were 4 weeks ago, when in theory we need to win it. Well, I'm not going to say it because Andrew moans at me when I say we need to score. Of course we need to score, but we need to win this. We need that 3 points just to keep under pressure to stay in that playoffs. Because if we draw, then the teams below us at the moment, they haven't kicked off, 2 games in hand on us. If they both win tonight, we could drop back to 6th. At the moment, we're 4th. So it's like, hopefully we can get this 3 points.
In other news, a lot of love for the turtles behind you, Aaron. I wonder if you could let us know. Richard wants to know what your turtle's called.
The big one is Messi, and the other one's Finlay.
There we go.
The kids name them. I didn't name them. The kids named them.
That's all right. We'll go with Messi. That's absolutely fine. Oh, and I can confirm Ipswich Town are down to 10 men on 28 minutes of their game. That's not looking good, is it? Once we're finished, head over to Alex's channel. That'll be fun watch. Mike, just finally, before I bring Gaz into the conversation, and Aaron, if you could stay there, if you will, because I realise I wanted to build on the fish more than anything, to be honest. But Mike, just before we let you guys shoot off and get yourselves ready for the second half, should Pompey lose tonight, do alarm bells start ringing for you? I know Brendan's reaction is of utter discontent, because of course it will be, but it will be a concern, won't it? And as kickoffs, as Aaron was quite rightly saying, kickoffs are now going off across League One as it's just hit over to 7 o'clock. But that's something we need to keep an eye on as well, because as he said, teams around us have games in hand on us.
Yeah, it's put it this way, my bells will be ringing, because that means Andrew's got to buy me some biscuits. But the fact that we can't lose another game in a row, definitely not. There's totally out of context of us keeping in the playoffs. We need minimum of a draw. I said we would most probably draw 1 or 2 of these last few games, but I don't think a loss would be good for morale of the troops, of the players. Certainly, I don't think the owners would be too impressed. But we've got to push on. The lads have got to be clear. There's so many not on the ball tonight. What's going on? Something wrong.
Yeah.
Not with the managerials or anything like that. But why are we like that? Is it tiredness? I don't know.
I'd like to add as well to that is I don't think don't diss CREWE in any way or belittle them at all. But I don't think that they've got potentially the quality to carve out a classic goal against us. It's going to come from our mistakes. That's what I think personally. It's going to be us giving the ball away, sort of like in our half of the pitch, and then pouncing on it. It's be close or Naylor or one of the back 4 giving away a misplaced pass and then sucker punching us.
Yeah, Burton scored within the first 10 minutes of the second half, I think it was.
2 minutes.
Sorry, well, yeah, but that's my crucial, is the 10 minutes of the second half. 10 either side of half time is the crucial. We've got to keep it tight until then, if not scoring ourselves.
Gentlemen, thank you for the moment. Aaron, I would just ask you, as we get Gaz in from all the way from Malta, very quickly now. Hello, mate. How are you? I'll let you go in a moment, Aaron, because I know we all want to get ready for the second half, which is coming up in sort of, well, it's going to be slightly longer than normal, just because of the well, not really longer, but slightly later than normal because of the added time that we had. But I wonder what you thought of what Brendan and Mike had to say there, Gaz. Was that, something isn't looking quite right out there tonight, is it?
Yeah, it's a bit like night and day. It's like one of your the comments that was in the stream saying, we're playing different halves. There's no same half under the Cowleys. Well, we definitely need a different half this second half because, like Brendan said there, we could be our own enemy tonight. I mean, if we're not tighter at the back, and we haven't got our head switched on, we could throw the game away. I'm surprised CREWE lost 6-0, at the weekend, because they're playing some good football. They're giving us some questions, and we've got to answer them questions in the second half. So really, Cowley's got to say to these players, you've really start, playing for that badge. Raggett, scary at the back. I'm not sure whether he's going to be. I think he'll get substitution. I think he'll come off. It's an ideal excuse, really, for the Cowley, just to say, look, I know he likes him and he's had him at Lincoln, but I prefer Rasmus at the back. And then we'll just see what happens with substitutions,
I wonder what you make of what's on your screen there, Gaz. Curtis has barely had one impressive pass this half, and Ben Close is replying free as well. And I think the Ben Close one is probably, I saw Adam's comment a minute ago, best and worst player. Ben Close definitely the best player in a Pompey shirt, but it has been a bit poor from Curtis. I wonder what you think.
He's his own worst enemy sometimes. He gets frustrated a lot. He's like, sometimes he wants to do it himself. He goes along and he's just doing too much. Sometimes let the ball do the work, and then sometimes he gets a bit nasty. But that's a streak in him, You don't mind that in a player, but it needs to be a bit under control. But yeah, he is his own worst enemy sometimes. But it's like the Cowleys. They've had to play players out of position these last few games. With Marquis coming in, they're putting the right people back in the places where they should be playing. So Curtis should be all right out there, So, but it's just like we're just like Mike said, we're not getting anything from the halfway to their box. We're giving them too much respect. We need to really start dominating now. If we really want to be playoff contenders, we really need to start stamping our authority, especially when results sometimes they're going our way a little bit, around us. We need to take these opportunities big time. Otherwise,
it's a bit of a blessing of a comment on the screen from Rebecca, who said you have some great contributors. I always enjoy listening to a great 4-0 family. Thank you very much indeed for that, Aaron. I was just gonna mention as what Gaz has said there, but this might be a bit of a strange analogy for you, but go with it. But it's almost as if we had a nice puzzle on the table. Jacket sort of messed up all the pieces, and Cowley's trying to put them all back in the right place, and it's not quite there yet, is it? But it's sort of coming together, and hopefully we can kick on in the second half and rectify the misfortunes of the first.
Well, what he's actually done, he's actually taken a couple of pieces away and chucked a different puzzle into them pieces that's all messed up. What I think he should do at half time is take Raggett off, bring Ryerson on, swap Curtis and Williams, swap positions with each other, because the CREWE have done their homework. They're playing us. They're closing us down. Yeah, if we make a mistake, they're going to score. We need that little bit of magic to actually come forward and attack this. So if we just swap them two players over, and then in about 60 minutes, take off Marquis, bring that young lad on, and then even Harvey White in midfield, and then just change it up like that. We've got 5 subs. Let's use them to our advantage. But we need to do something quickly, otherwise it's going to come back and bite us.
Any bit like your turtle, any particular substitutions that you'd make from watching all the way from Malta, Gaz? I know you feel just as close to us at the moment because of iFollow, but have you got any sort of changes in mind that you might make if you were Danny Cowley?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Marquis, he looks a bit rusty at the moment. It's under suspension. Plus, he's got an injury as well, so that's going to be niggling at him as well. Stanley's going to be. He's a young lad. He's going to be hungry. He scored against Millwall the other night, so he'll be itching to get in there. So something like that. Obviously, White, we know what he can do on a set piece. There's obviously the Raggett for Rasmus. That'll give us some threat going forward anyway, and that won't give us any kittens at the back. But the main thing is we're not losing the game, so we're 0-0 at the moment. That's the main thing. So we're not chasing, but we need to secure, some possession, and we need to get that goal, because it's going to be all the way to 90 minutes. It's going to be, we want to be a bit more comfortable. So then at least there's a little bit more easiness amongst the team, because it's like they're trying to force it, even though they scored, they got 6 against them at Saturday. They still, they're still defensively, they're okay. So we just need to knock down that wall. And once it gets knocked down, then the goals might start flowing. Their heads might drop then. So it's just a case of, go for it.
Aaron, if you we'll see at full time. Gaz, if you wouldn't mind sticking there for a moment or two, thank you for your contribution. We're going to go for an outside broadcast now. Retro Shirt Sean joins us from his vehicle. Welcome. Thanks for jumping on. Whereabouts are you?
I am currently at the swimming pool, dropping my son off, and so he swims for 2 hours this morning, swimming 2 hours again this evening.
There we go. I think we can see him getting some stuff at the boot. But your viewpoint on I don't know if you've managed to sort of probably missed a bit of the end of the first half, Sean, but it wasn't anything to write home about, was it, so far? If you want to say goodbye to him,
no, from what I've heard, they've been trying to force the game. From what I'm listening, is that it's all been a bit. So yes, it's been trying to force the game, and they've been trying to. That final third again has been quite tight up there. And I think, bringing on young Alfie might be a bit of a change they need, sort of liven it up. I think Ronan's been in and out of the game from what I've heard on the commentary. But we'll see how it goes,
Absolutely. We're going to leave you both now because the game is just about to get off and underway. Enjoy your swim, or hope your son enjoys his swim. We'll see you all at the full-time whistle. For the time being, we're going to get back to commentary here on Fournilwritten All Over It. We are now 2 hours and 10 minutes in to the stream, and CREWE ALEXANDRA will be the team to get things back underway. And just as we get things back underway, Andrew is going to come and rejoin us after thank you very much indeed. He's just bought me a nice little beverage, so thank you for that. He's got the exact same as me. Darren Drysdale's blown the whistle for the second half to get underway. The football will resume. Myself and Andrew will therefore resume our commentary. How was your food?
What have I heard? What have I missed from the experts, Tom?
Well, Sean joined us from a swimming pool car park, which was an outside broadcast that none of us were expecting. So that was they only joined us very briefly and just made a comment about perhaps Marquis.
Sean who?
Sean, Retro Shirt Sean, Commander Sean.
All right, Commander Sean.
He joins us live from his vehicle.
What's he doing in the swimming pool, Tom?
He's dropping his son off for a bit of a swim, which he can go for now. We'll see.
Yeah, I went last night.
You did, yeah, absolutely. But we're back underway here at Gresty Road, and we were just sort of mentioning how Pompey haven't quite been at it. Very much sort of building on what we were saying in commentary. It's quite nice actually to be able to sit here and chat.
Oh, Silky from Ragged. Oh my word! He's turned like a number 17 bus, Tom.
It's quite nice to be able to sit here and sort of sit back and listen to what other Pompey fans are saying from their point of view and it always has been the way in the last couple of couple of months or so that we've been broadcasting live to you, to your bedrooms, to your mobiles, to your computers, that actually you do. Also, Ipswich are 2-0 down against AFC Wimbledon with 10 men. Ipswich have got 10 men away from home at the new stadium at AFC Wimbledon. So that's another bit of news for you. We'll keep you updated with all the ingoings and outgoings in terms of goals. Oxford United have taken the lead just now against Shrewsbury. Rochdale are also 1-0 up against Swindon. Those two goals have come in the sort of opening 15 minutes or so of the 7 o'clock kickoff. So as I say, we'll keep you updated with all things League One as Ryan Williams is in a battle with Tom Lowry. He's come out the best, Ryan Williams, and he gives the ball to Ben Close and points longwards, and Ben Close will turn and do so and find Charlie Daniels. Ronan Curtis is the nearest man on this near touchline. Lovely little passage of play there.
Great player, Charlie.
It's a bit of a shove actually from initially from Anthony Evans, and the referee's going to signal for a Pompey throw, which I was surprised by, to be honest, because I think Daniels did more than kick that out. Sorry, I'll move in a second. I'm just going to readjust this.
Interestingly, Tom.
Yeah.
Daniels is really, really, for me, he's a great player. He's a lot quicker than his counterpart. I think in a ball possession like that.
More of an attacking sort of player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Referee, I don't know what he's doing.
I'd like to say is probably the last 4 days, the management team at CREWE just worked on defensive play, and they've obviously crowding us out. No one's getting a space, and the skill we've got on the ball from the players is obviously they know the threat. They know that we're tactically and technically good. Oh my God, Williams, what's he done that? He's in the book.
Yeah, he's a bit of a hefty challenge, and Darren Drysdale will reach for his
giving away a yellow card like that in their half. Why do people make that challenge in the opponent's half? There is no need to make a challenge, is there?
Darren's in. Good evening to Dario, and everyone's saying hello to Dario as well. He's in from Argentina. Vamos Sportsmouth, he says. And unfortunately, Ryan Williams has just gone into the book just as you join us, Dario. So unfortunately for
Dario,
us,
welcome to the stream, mate, from sunny. Where is he from?
Argentina. All the way from Argentina. It's not just Dario; it's Dario and his friends and family as well. And it's a ball up the pitch now from CREWE. A subsequent free kick is won by the header of the free kick is won by Jack Watmore. Pompey could be on the break here. MARQUIS has a hefty touch, and that was going to be battered away by Luke Offord, who also finds himself on a yellow card this evening. He received that in sort of the opening couple of minutes of the game, actually. So
Can I trouble you for a jammy, Tom?
Oh, of course, you go for it. We've got a couple left in the preliminary.
Have you eaten 8 jammy Dodgers?
I haven't eaten 8. No, there were a couple that I'd eaten in the last couple of days. But we've still got a row of 8 left. We've got a jumbo pack that's since been opened from the last time you saw it here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. So that's all good to go, which is good news. Jerry has a feeling, that the second half will be better. Jerry, I hope you are correct, mate. At the moment, the opening 4 minutes or so haven't looked the brightest from a Pompey point of view, but that could all be about to change as Tom Lowry for CREWE ALEXANDRA get things going for them from an attacking point of view. They can only go backwards at the moment, the home side, as we tick over into 50 minutes now. And a long ball, it's not a long ball, it's along the ground, but it's reached Craig McGilvery. And this is Jack Watmore now. And Ryan Williams, unfortunately, I normally agree completely with what Andrew Lancaster says, but I'm going to have to disagree on this occasion, saying we are an average team. It's that simple. We can just about mix it with mid-table teams. I'm going to be honest, Andrew to Andrew, I couldn't agree less with that, unfortunately.
And me too, Mr. Lancaster. I
Mm.
don't know which team you're watching, bud, but we're playing the football. CREWE are just stopping us playing football.
Well, I don't even think that. But this particular game is probably a bad example, but Pompey have one of what I think is one of the best squads in this division, and the team itself is superb, and the talent amongst it.
Yeah, it's great football to watch.
Some comments coming in from Jacob and Ashley saying how quickly you got that jammy down you.
I'm a jammy machine.
He is a jammy machine. And Shauna said, I guess a point would be good for them after Saturday from a CREWE point of view. That's rather pessimistic of you, Measy.
No, he's saying that they would be happy with
sure. Wigan are now 2-1 up against Sunderland. We knew it. You called it.
These are the type of game we need to win now, isn't it? Because the other teams are dropping points, which is what we said would happen. We just got to make sure we win our games, and this one is one we can win. And the Marcus Harness on the ball now.
Harness is working his way forwards, and he tries to thread the ball through, and there.
Marcus has got to move quicker, isn't he?
There's Andrew's reaction to that for you, but it was a ball that was thread through to MARQUIS, and he just looked like he was stuck in second gear and couldn't get up to third. Really decent ball. It wasn't a little bit of weight on it than MARQUIS was probably expecting, but
at least chase it down. At least put yourself in a position where you might get a chance at it.
And that one will be a throw in for Jack Watmore to take. Danny Cowley catches it as it comes out of the play.
I've been a great fan of Marcus over the years, the last 2 years, but he's showing me recently that he's perhaps not the finished article. You know, there's some prolific strikers in this league, and
could you argue that
he's got to show more than he's got to put more effort in?
Could you argue that? Oh, that's a bit of a heavy one. It is a bit of a heavy one. Callum Lang is the man who's got the goal for Wigan Athletic. Interestingly, he was the man that went up for the challenge with Sean Raggett when we played them at the DW Stadium. It's good to see he's back in the Wigan team. We could see he's back amongst the goals, the number 9 for the Ticks. Right, here we go. They are called, they're called the Latics, aren't they? Latics. Marcus Harness now. Tom Naylor puts the ball in, and Curtis is the nearest to it. That got a touch off. I believe it was MARQUIS, or could have been perhaps Ryan Williams there, and the keeper was quick and alert to it.
I think just carrying on from what Mr. Lancaster said there, Tom, I think the point is that they've had a rocket, haven't they, CREWE, and they've been told to defend this like their lives because their lives depend on it, as does their manager. And I think you watch how they close us down. They've obviously worked on that for the 4 days that were just discussed. And I think that's that we're trying to play our football and play through them. And they're making it very difficult because they don't want another embarrassment, do they? And 0-0, would they take a 0-0 tonight before kickoff, wouldn't they?
I think if
That's a lot less losing than by
Yeah.
6, Tom.
And actually, that's quite reminiscent of what happened 4 years ago at Fratton Park, and it was actually Alan who was interviewing the Crewe fans outside the ground before we went in at Fratton Park, and they were saying, "Oh, we've come all this way from Cheshire for a draw," and you think, well, that is the type of football club that we're up against this evening, and they will be happy with their performance so far, and I'm sure David Artell is more than overjoyed with the fact that they are 0-0 against the mighty Pompey, and hopefully with this next attack, and perhaps, we're now almost 10 minutes out of Mike's danger zone, as it were, in terms of conceding a goal, but also he expressed the importance of the 10 minutes before halftime, the 10 minutes after halftime, with his point that you want to get and we've given it away massively here, and it's a shot, and Craig McGilvery needs to come and clay that. Bit of a scare from Pompey there,
because that is shocking from Naylor.
Pompey captain's made a bit of an error there, which everyone's entitled to a mistake or two, Andrew. Marquis is, as Andrew's alluded to there, it's a bit of a...
Marcus, get forward,
yeah,
son.
he's right, sort of right deep, isn't he? And he's not operating in his normal role, and perhaps that came off the back of the ball being back with Craig McGilvery for a moment. Marcus Harness is chasing the ball down off Harry Pickering. The sun is starting to set in Cheshire now, and it's making it difficult for, you would imagine, he's given it away massively to Curtis Porter there, Tom Naylor, and it was a shot away from Owen Dale.
This is a poor Crewe side, Tom, and we should be putting them through it now.
It's a strike from all of 25 yards from Dale, and it was straight at Craig McGilvery. That could have perhaps struggled
Is he offside?
against. No, he's not. We're going to. Oh, he is now. Yeah, you called that before it even been played.
Well, I wasn't referring to.
Yeah, well, you're referring to the ball beforehand.
Yeah.
Jack Griffin has said, in your opinion, before his suspension, when was Marquis's last quality performance? That's a very good question. Before Andrew answers that one from Jack, if you're just joining us live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit, a very good evening to you all first and foremost. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday evening. Great that you're spending a little bit of time with us, and wonderful to have your company. If you could leave the stream a like and subscribe down below too if you haven't done so already. We're 55 minutes into this one now, and Will Jackalinen, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his surname correctly, and I haven't been doing all evening, but the response to what Jack said there, Andrew, was for Doncaster from Sean Meads, and I would have to disagree politely with Meadsy there, but I know he's joking a little bit. But
when he wasn't getting the service that he should get in his position, then you could argue.
Curtis has won the ball back on the right-hand side for Pompey now. Will he find Harness on the left? No, he won't.
See how many players are around him.
Go it alone. He's holding them all off. Callum Johnson now.
You see what I'm saying about
one down to Harness. 1-2. Callum Johnson's still got it. Ball's looking to make its way into the box. Lays it off to Naylor. First time cross is poor and away from the Crewe back line. Is Ben Close going to be the first to it? Jack Watmore's there. Can't lose out in that position. He doesn't do so. Johnson back to Close. Now Close will go it alone through the heart of the Crewe midfield and look to play Harness in. And that one's cut out by Luke Murphy and eventually finds Tom Lowry for the Alexandra. And that one's back with Tom Naylor on halfway.
They're crowding us out, Tom, wherever they can. They're obviously, as we mentioned earlier, they're battered and bruised from last week, and they just have tidied up their act big time, and that's what's making us frustrating with the ball.
Curtis played one into Williams, who'll get a first-time cross across. Brilliant header.
Marcus, you've got to score from there.
That's another example of a poor Marquis performance, unfortunately. Best chance.
Back to the keeper, best chance. Nodding it back to him.
Best chance the second half. I was literally you've taken the words out of my mouth there. It was almost a defensive pass back with the head, wasn't it, from Marquis to the keeper in the Crewe Alexandra goal. As I said,
I wonder if he couldn't see because the sun was in his face, Tom.
It's the other. It's behind him, Andrew. The sun's behind it. The keeper shouldn't be able to see it because it's shining down this way. Look where Craig McGilvery is. Craig McGilvery standing in the shade.
Get rid of it.
Sean Raggett now. Charlie Daniels. I tell you what, we could do with a penalty, couldn't we? That'd be nice. Ronan Curtis down in the box. Oh, is that one?
There is the penalty.
Oh, gotta be. Oh, it is.
Well called, Tom.
I swear to the Lord above.
Who's going to take it?
I did not know that it was a penalty. I had no idea.
Who's going to take it? Don't excuse yourself. Who's going to
Marquis.
Is he?
I would imagine. Oh, but it was. It was. Keeper didn't get the ball. It's a stone wall. Yeah. Darren Drysdale had to give that. Lino saw it on the far side as well.
Wants it. Ronan Curtis wants the ball.
Ronan Curtis is fouled. Will Ronan Curtis?
Ronan Curtis wants to take it.
Will Ronan Curtis be the man to take
No,
it? No, it won't be. It will be Johnny Marquis. Matty said, "What are the lottery numbers? I probably need to have a look at them." It would be just like Marquis if this is gone and saved, wouldn't it?
No, that's not fair.
It would. He's had that evening, Andrew.
No,
he's had that evening.
Give the guy some credit. He's a good player, Tom. He's just been
58
had
minutes
3
on the
games
clock.
out.
Up steps Marquis. Oh no. What a dreadful penalty that is from John Marquis. Keeper guessed right. It's poor and it just trickled along the ground and just, oh. The Crewe players go over and congratulate their keeper. Any words?
No, disappointing, Tom. I saw Ronan go and get the ball, and I thought he's going to take it. And maybe he should have done. I would have let Daniels take it. To be fair, if I was any of the players out there, Daniels would have.
Unfortunately,
or even Naylor. Naylor or Daniels for me.
Unfortunately for Marquis, that will be what he goes down to remember. He will be remembered by that, won't he?
Well,
from Marquis this evening in particular.
Unless he gets a couple, Tom.
Well, maybe that will be spurring him on now in the back of his mind. He'll want to get on the score sheet. It was probably the worst penalty since the Salford one.
I wouldn't have let him take it, especially if he's been out for 3 games. I think I would have put.
But you can imagine what's going through his mind.
Naylor's got to take it, hasn't
he? You can imagine that.
You
can imagine Marquis gets in there and say, right, lads, I haven't been in the team. I need to get back on the score sheet. He's an out-and-out goal scorer, Marquis. He needs to get his numbers up perhaps for the season. He's thinking in his head as well. What a poor night for Marquis it's been. What a dreadful penalty that was. It wasn't even a decent save. I think you could have probably saved that. You could easily have guessed it. And Harness in the box. Curtis will get a strike away. Oh, my word. That's a really good save. And as we said in the first half, Andrew, Jack Alainen in goal, who I can confirm did play in the 6-0 defeat. David Artell has stuck with him for this evening's game.
What a shot.
Gaz from Malta said that penalty had more power than a dead snail. That's a great comment from Gaz. And now, at least, we're seeing chances firing Pompey's way all of a sudden. It's almost spurred the whole team on to, come on, boys, let's go and get that one. And this will be a chance now for Crewe to perhaps, I don't know, they want to call a halt to proceedings as the game is rather falling away from them, the home side at the moment. And they're making a substitution to perhaps, I don't know, calm things down a little bit and sort of slow the game down slightly is my cynical view of it. 61 minutes has been played now. Charlie Daniels is standing over a corner ball that's going to be delivered from the right-hand side. Keeper is obviously being impaired by the sun rather a lot, actually, this evening. Corner goes in. It's a deep one. Oh, my word. Watmore's nearest to it. Williams goes down. Not going to be another penalty from Darren Drysdale.
Williams dives like a salmon.
He does dive like a salmon, but nonetheless, it will be a Pompey corner, which Ronan Curtis is more than urgent to get underway and get going. 61.5 is on the clock now. Thank you for joining us live here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. If you're just joining us, Marquis has just missed a penalty, and Pompey have the best opportunity of all game to go ahead. And that's a header from, it's a decent opportunity from Tom Naylor, the Pompey captain. It's a free header that he had at the far post, sorry. There's a combination of near and far there. At the far post, it was a really decent header that just went inches wide.
I need a jammy, Tom. Pass me a jammy.
You need a jammy just to settle yourself down. But all of a sudden, it's got a little bit exciting here on Fournilwrittenalloverit for you this evening. After a bit of what was a poor first half, definitely chances-wise, Andrew, Pompey have been a lot more potent in the second period. And that goes with what the guys were saying at half-time. And also some of the comments that came our way before the start of the second half is that Pompey look very much like a two-half team at the moment. And to coin the phrase that's been used before, it's a game of two halves here at I think it's
Gresty Road.
Gresty Road, absolutely. Ollie Clark has said sub Alfie on for Marquis, and maybe the time is now for Alfie Stanley to get his first couple of minutes in a Pompey shirt in a League One game. Huey wants Marquis gone. Purchasing Marquis is where it all started going wrong for Pompey. after a poor performance and a missed penalty? Are we coming down a little bit too hard on him? I think we probably are.
I think so, yeah.
This is I forgot his name there.
There's better strikers out there.
Charlie Daniels up to Ronan Curtis, header down in the box, and he's just been muscled out of it by a combination. Good play actually from Nathan Wood-Gordon and Luke Offord, the two centre halves for, for CREWE. And Andrew, this opening period has been a lot better from a Pompey point of view, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure, Tom. We are playing better football now. It's just unfortunate. The lads will be a little bit heads down because of that missed opportunity from the penalty spot. But I think for me, Marcus has got to do a little bit. Harness has got to do a little bit more tonight. He doesn't look like he's on the ball. He's not really with it. Hasn't been for a game or two, has he? A great player. I love him to bits, but he's better than this. Here we go, Tom.
We're going again. Here comes Tom Naylor, the Pompey captain, driving forward. He's got options left and right. He opts right, and that was
pathetic little slide of a ball.
That was. I thought you were going to say pathetic little so and so then, but Naylor had options left and right. As I said, he went right.
It back to their defense.
Left would have probably been the better option for him.
There's a lot more players on the left than there were on the right.
A lot more options looking, left rather than right. And it was
just run out of pace, power, and then just rolled it.
It was really poor from the Pompey captain. Really poor. And now CREWE have an opportunity. And that one nearly ended up in the railway station over the top of that Rhino safety stand at the Gresty Road end at CREWE Alexandra. If you're just joining us, ladies and gents, get the stream up to 100 likes. That'd be much appreciated. And also subscribe to the channel if you're brand new to what you see, and myself and Angie guiding you through. This is the 6th to last stream of the normal season here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. We could be giving you 2, even perhaps 3 more streams or 3 more videos here on Fournilwrittenalloverit for the rest of the season. And as Andrew quite rightly said, Marquis has done really well. Sean Raggett now. This is Chris Porter. I'm not sure what he's doing.
Get back in your position.
And Ben Close has found Jack Watmore, who, because Sean Raggett's slightly out of his position, is the furthest man back in white for Pompey. Callum Johnson now finds Marcus Harness on the right hand side. Yep, I'm correct. Right hand side. Can tell my left from right, and Ryan Williams will only watch that one trickle out of players. CREWE Alexandra are happy to watch it as well. If I say the words 4 minutes with Logan, that will probably give you a clue as to what is to happen for the close season. I've got a couple of plans with some friends of mine that you may know on YouTube as well over the summer. More to come on that in due course. That obviously all depends on restrictions easing. Jack Watmore's lost out there, and things will be moving forward for Pompey now. For CREWE Alexandra as they play from left to right at this moment in time. Tom Lowery's on the ball now, and Tom Naylor's doing his best to prevent the cross from going in. Harry Pickering eventually gets the ball in. Raggett rises the highest, nearly conceding a penalty in the process.
Nearly threw the bloke to the ground.
It's poor. It's really poor. And Marquis now.
First touch, Marcus, is shocking.
I'm glad you didn't say touch of a so-and-so as what you would normally say. 66 minutes on the clock. Jack Watmore's the nearest to it for Pompey. Finds Charlie Daniels, and Ryan Williams now back with it.
Go on, Willies.
And Ronan Curtis almost got in the way of that one, didn't he? And then it's a turnover in possession that CREWE Alexandra will capitalise on. This is Owen Dale now. Nail is the closest to him. Out to Tom Lowery, who pokes one out to the left-hand side from a CREWE Alexandra attacking point of view. 2/3 inside Pompey territory. This is Luke Murphy, who's already scored. He's assisted one so far this season. And luckily for a Pompey, Darren Drysdale has blown up for a free kick in our favour. And after what was a really good sort of 10 minutes, Andrew, it's all sort of
they haven't done much.
Petered out, hasn't it?
They're still going to defend this 0-0, aren't they? We've got 23 minutes left, haven't we? Plus a bit stop is 30, maybe 25 minutes.
McGilvery fires one up to halfway, and Ben Close will fail to win the header and actually probably impedes his man in the process. And CREWE Alexandra just rinse and repeat, go again. Tom Lowery finds the ball, shots deflected against the back of Watmore. Tom Naylor with the pleasant header back to Craig McGilvery, and eventually he'll sort himself out at the Pompey will sort themselves out at the back there, and Craig McGilvery will hold the ball and look to and will roll it out to Jack Watmore, who was the nearest man to him. 67 minutes on the clock now. And it's a throw-in for Pompey that
Callum Johnson will throw down the line quickly, and all he can do is find Harry Pickering, but Pompey may have won this one back. Marcus Harness now finds John Marquis, who's paying on the right-hand side, and it's a throw-in for Pompey in a decent position, and nearly 70 minutes on the clock now at Gresty Road as the sun continues to beam down on this Cheshire Stadium. Callum Johnson's going to have to go into the stand to retrieve the ball and get things going once again. Darren Drysdale just gesticulates where the ball should be thrown in from. Marcus Harness now over the top of his head and onto Ryan Williams, who's headed it down to Marquis, who will latch onto this one, and it's a last-ditch fire away from Nathan Wood-Gordon up into the gods and out for a Ronan Curtis throw-in, who will look to take it quickly and perhaps leave it to one of his colleagues arriving imminently on this near touchline. It's already in play. We couldn't quite see it was, but it is, and this is now Ben Close for Pompey. Oxford United have doubled their lead against Shrewsbury. I'm just going to pause for a drink, and Andrew's going to take over for a moment because my mouth is getting dry.
Just take your time, Tom, because there's not a lot going on. We're just knocking around at the back at the minute. Naylor
to Watmore, who fires one long over the top of the Crewe midfield, and that one will be down to Tom Naylor once again. Onto Harness is a lovely ball. Naylor's one of the furthest forward for Pompey now. Into the 18-yard box on that right-hand side. He allows for white players to stream back into the box before laying it off to Callum Johnson, and that ball didn't have enough on it for him.
Passes from Naylor in very, very good positions. He's got to wake up a little bit, Tom. He's got to do something special for me, Naylor, to get himself
Ben Close back to Naylor. And now the ball will head forward to Ryan Williams, and he's got options in the box in the shape of Marquis. Will he take him? No, and his cross is deflected out for a Pompey throw-in. Luke Offord is the man who got that into touch for the home side, and it's battened down the hatches from a CREWE Alexandra point of view as Naylor throws into Ryan Williams, receives it back to him. Back to Williams now. Pompey heading further and further backwards. Jack Watmore just over halfway. Plays things back into Pompey defensive territory to Raggett. And Ben Close's touch is a poor one, but luckily Ronan Curtis is there to receive the loose ball and works his way from left to right across the field. This is Ryan Williams now. Tom Naylor to Ronan Curtis. That was almost a sublime ball. And Callum Johnson.
So we go out the wing for him.
And yes, you just heard a teenager say the word sublime. Marcus Harness now. It's a wayward ball forward.
Pressure him. Go on, stay with him.
Tom Lowry with 20 minutes on the clock plus whatever is added on at the end of this period.
Get off from there. That's what you need to do.
Ben Close, ball forward. Jack Watmore's nearest to it. Can he win the ball? No, he can't. And that one will be dispatched into the centre of the field for Anthony Evans to play in. Oh, I've got his name written down because he's a substitute that's come on the pitch.
Number 5.
The number 5. Back to Nathan Wood-Gordon now. And again, this is Anthony Evans who fires one into, oh my word, and Raggett, to be honest, Andrew, got back really well there from Pompey and provided the defending that they needed, and that one will be a Pompey free kick. It's actually the Crewe man who's on the deck. And it's a substitution, and on comes Harvey White for Pompey, who will be replacing Ben Close in the centre of midfield, Andrew.
Yeah, I think it's probably not a bad shout, Tom. He needs a bit more energy there, don't we? Ben's not had a bad game, but hasn't played his... Oh, and somebody else is coming on.
I believe it will be a George Byers who will be making his way on. Not going to confirm as of yet who will be making their way off the pitch. Craig McGilvery and Darren Drysdale are in conversation with each other. And it will be...
I think their player, the Crewe players, has booted the ball off the pitch, hasn't he?
I think he might have done. Not quite sure what's happened there. It's a Pompey substitution. Harvey White's coming on for Ben Close. My apologies, and we'll tell you who's coming on in just. Well, we know that George Byers will making his way onto the pitch. He hasn't yet come on for Pompey. He's just being readied on that far touchline in the Pompey technical area. We'll give you the news on who will be making way for Byers in just a few moments. Marquis almost nicked that one off Jack Alainen, who was waiting for it to just trickle over into his box so he could handle the ball without impeding himself. There is Jack Watmore. A bit of a sigh from me as Pompey haven't managed to make the most of what they've had in front of goal, particularly in this second period, and perhaps put them to the sword here, Crewe. Harvey White making his way down the left-hand side into Williams, and Curtis was close to it. And again, the final third action is just poor, and it's just not happening. And Pompey making a real meal of it at the moment. And as I said in the first half, Andrew, they're almost their own worst enemy at the moment at Gresty Road.
It's just short passes or long passes, Tom, and it just seemed to be not quite where we'd normally sit to the feet and normally to the right position. But it seems tonight that
I can confirm Ryan Williams is the man making way for George Byers. So that's the second
running. I think Williams is probably getting a bit tired. He's
second of 5 potential Pompey changes coming this evening, with 73.5 minutes on the clock now. We're live across Fournilwritten all over it on YouTube and Facebook across the planet here for you this evening, as we will be for the next 6 games, and perhaps even longer than that, depending on whether we can be back at the football to bring you the final couple of games or not, as Ryan Williams dons a Pompey tracksuit coat. And Andrew's reaction says it all. He's not interested in what I'm saying whatsoever. 75 minutes is on the clock. This is Charlie Daniels now, who's
let the ball go out.
And the ball sort of got the better of him there. And there's confirmation of George Byers making his way onto the pitch. Darren Drysdale was aware of the time that Pompey are taking to get this. Sorry, that Crewe are taking to get this ball into play. It is now eventually into play. Charlie Daniels rises the highest, and Harvey White wins the next header. Ronan Curtis is not happy with Anthony Evans, who nicked him in his midriff there, Curtis. 75 minutes now, and this is Jack Watmore. Fires a ball over the top of the defensive line in the direction of Harness, and Marquis will chase that one down.
Stay with him there, Johnny Boy.
Still a goal in this one, Andrew, as the ball rather sort of... Oh, that's a decent corner, won by John Marquis. He sort of dragged it back and then kicked it against the Crewe defender. Got a little bit of luck there. The corner flag actually kept the ball in play for that moment in time. Pompey, we taking their 6th corner of the evening now. 15 minutes to go, if my maths is right, which it never normally is.
15 plus 3
plus
or 4.
Whatever's added on at the end of this second period now.
That little Dorset.
Dorset. Now. There you go. A little bit more received pronunciation for you. Ball goes in from Callum Johnson. It's not the best ball in, and the referee's going to blow up for a foul on Anthony Evans. Tracksuit top. Thank you, Dave, for that. We are indeed winning on corners. Crewe have only had 2, and Pompey have had 6. So one man will be happy, Andrew.
Yeah.
That man is not you, unfortunately, at this moment in time. 76 minutes on the clock now.
Now?
What's wrong with saying now?
No.
I'm not saying it like that, am I? A retro shirt Sean has said, I smell jammy promotion Dodgers, courtesy of Andrew. Oh, dearie me. You know, we used to say that we were promotion Dodgers.
Yeah.
That was you've coined that phrase.
Yeah.
Perhaps given tonight's performance. He's not particularly happy. I wonder what your reaction to that is.
I think Retro needs to stop drinking Aaron's bathwater.
Or perhaps drinking the swimming pool water. Good way to get a draw, says Chris Mahoney. We don't want to draw though, Chris, do we? I know he's put it in inverted speech marks.
Much better football than we've seen for a long time. It's just unfortunate that things aren't quite dropping for us.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're playing some good stuff, Tom.
For about a week, this is better football.
Look, we're being crowded out.
Marquis.
We're being crowded out all over.
George Byers. Andrew's lost his marbles finally. We were teetering on the edge, but I think it's finally happened.
Listen to what I'm saying. Give me a chance to say what I'm saying. The important thing to note here is this team had 6 scored against them on the weekend. It's not going to happen again tonight, was it? They weren't going to let it happen tonight. They are just crowding us out and stopping us playing in their final third. And you can see what's happening. Credit to them. They realise actually they're under threat here tonight. And we've had, I don't know, possession. We've had again. Possession doesn't win games, but you've got to have the ball to win the games, haven't you? And what you just watch how they crowd out the players. 2 or 3 around that are good players.
You have also got to have the goals to win the game.
I know, mate, but it's not a wonder they're not getting a sniff at the present time, because if we were winning this game 2-0, if Raggett had scored that header, free header in the first half, there was a chance then.
There's ample opportunity, isn't there?
Hang on,
go on,
let me finish. The first half of that free header that Raggett had, that should be 1-0. The second half of the penalty should be 2-0, and that chance that Marquis had, free header as well, that should be 3-0. We'd be talking, everyone would be saying a great promotion, but the fact they haven't gone in for us tonight, I think they've worked really hard, and I think they haven't gone in yet. But I still fancy us to win this. I don't see CREWE winning it. I think there's only one team trying to win the game. Playing some football.
Yeah, there's only one team looking. Yeah, especially
when we haven't scored, isn't it?
Yeah, especially in the second half, and as Sean said in the meet, he said in the comments that it missing from a penalty doesn't help the cause, does it, by any stretch?
Of course not.
Anyway.
Yeah, I appreciate there's been 1 or 2 wayward passes and a few light touches on the ball from people like Naylor, which you wouldn't normally expect.
Couple
of
mistakes.
I do think we're being a little hard on the boys, because I think we could still win this game. There's 15 minutes to go, maybe including a bit of added time, maybe 17 minutes. The fitness levels are high. They're still attacking, aren't we? We're away from home, still attacking.
It'd be lovely to just get one in.
Just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 would do me.
This is Ronan Curtis now, who is on his own, and there's a challenge goes flying in, and Curtis kept the ball, and there won't be any subsequent action from the referee Darren Drysdale. And this is Tom Naylor now, who, that will be a bit of subsequent action on the challenge on Harvey White. He received the ball and then he was sort of clamoured to the ground there.
I do say,
Tom Naylor plays on forward to Marquis now. Headers down to George Byers. It's clever work from the Pompey number 9, but unfortunately Byers' pass out to Curtis was not the best by any stretch.
Again, a little bit wayward, Tom, and not enough weight on it.
And now here comes Raggett.
Oh, another game, another time you'd have put that in Rosehead and been thrown to them.
Yeah.
So they've obviously, the boys have been speaking to him, haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one from Naylor. Naylor's had a shocking night. Just too weak a pass, He's just got to put his foot on it a little bit more, hasn't he?
80 minutes on the clock now. This one's down with CREWE Alexandra. Ball goes in and Curtis sticks his leg out and manages to prevent the ball from going in. Remains 0-0 here at Gresty Road with 10 minutes plus whatever's added on at the end of the game. And Brian, we had the opportunity for a lucky goal from the penalty spot, courtesy of John Marquis, which he sadly couldn't convert. 80.5 now.
I think what's happened, Tom, for us over the last 3 years, we've all got too used to the negativity and to criticise too much. We are 6 games into this new leadership and the new structure and the new pace. We give ourselves a little bit of credit for playing all the football again tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've been the team in the second half, haven't we? Although at the moment we've seen quite a lot of it's a shot from distance, and that's the first real opportunity that we've seen from CREWE in the second half. It's come courtesy of Tom Lowry, who's already got 3 goals and 6 assists so far this season. He's played in 32 of the 40 games they've played. Excuse me. It was a decent opportunity.
He's done Naylor up a kipper there. For me, Naylor's been the missed man of the match tonight.
McGilvery was watching it with a fixated.
Or should I call him Prince Harry?
Should she call him Prince Harry? He does look a little bit like him, doesn't he? Bit like Prince Harry's made quite a few mistakes, hasn't he?
1 or 2, more done that.
Yeah. This evening in particular from Naylor.
Also Mr. What's his name in Malta?
Mr. Malta?
Yeah.
82 minutes.
No, our colleague in Malta.
Oh, Gaz.
Gaz in Malta. He's made 1 or 2 apparently.
Well.
So he tells me every time I mention.
Well, when Gaz comes on, I'm sure
he'll have something
number
to say.
one, we'll get a mention of his ex-wife. We've got a little bit of a story. We had a minute silence for Prince Philip before the game because this is the first home game that CREWE Alexandra have had, and he's actually got a tale or two to tell Gaz about his time serving in the Royal Navy, which I think will all be. I'm very much looking forward to hearing it, and I must remember to ask him about it. Long throw goes into the box, and again it was. Byers was swinging for it. It's a header away from CREWE Alexandra. It's out to Jack Watmore, just sort of 40 yards from goal. It's almost a really nice, neat pass from Marquis harness. It doesn't quite work out, and CREWE will look to go again, and Harvey White's trying to get in there as well, but referee's going to say play on. So it's a slightly wayward challenge from the Tottenham low knee. Nearly guesses the right way. There's a little bit of a dummy there. Curtis is back on defensive duties. Anthony Evans plays it across the pitch. This is Harry Pickering now. 83 minutes on the clock now. Oh, my word. And that one sent Craig McGilvery tumbling, and he's absolutely furious there. Oh, that was not good. Probably the...
You shouldn't have let that. But look, he's saying to him, why'd you let him go past you? Who was it? Let him go past? Callum Johnson.
I think it was. If you wouldn't mind just...
Yeah, I think
taking over for a moment or
Raggett was
two.
in the right place then, Tom, for a change. He did get in the way of the striker, otherwise it is 1-0 to them. And he's just nodded it. Just got away after chance on goal here. No, unlucky. But let's see what Marcus can do with it. Harness can do with this. He's battling for it, and it's a loose ball to Naylor, who really has got to step up for me tonight. He's got to do something special now. Naylor's got to hit one of his trailblazers straight into the top corner. That's what he's got to do for me, because he's got to show me why he's wearing that captain's armband. As of tonight's performance, I think he's been the worst man on the pitch, Tom, frankly. This Harvey White is going to curl the ball in for a header.
Oh, it was a decent opportunity for Ronan Curtis. Strike! Oh, my word! That is inches past the post.
I think Ronan's had half-decent second half, you know. He's done well there. He's just about to volley this. Was it? No, it was the Byers, wasn't it?
You are being rather complimentary of Pompey this evening, Andrew.
No, I am.
As opposed to what we're seeing in the comments.
Well, people can say that, Tom,
and
but...
I'm inclined to agree with you. I think our chances this second half have been superb, but the goal isn't on the board, is it?
Yet, but let's see what happens in the next 5 to 6 minutes.
We'd be texting Jake. It is neither, mate. I'm sorry I had to sort of briefly leave you for a moment. And Marquis is away here for Pompey. He's inside the box, and he's been caught by the frickin' offside flag.
Was that really offside?
Yes, I think he went miles before. What a turnip. That's an absolute shocker. 5 minutes of normal time to be played.
Take 3 weeks to take this free kick. And you can see what they're doing, Tom. They're just looking for that 1 point tonight, aren't they?
Pompey are down into fifth, and they remain in...
Still 65 points, Tom.
It is, but it's a win tonight would pop you on 68, sorry.
There needs to be a win, doesn't it? Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Keep the faith. Come on. Come on, Daniel's son.
I like the positivity. I'm a massive fan.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have been saying this 3 weeks ago, Tom. I wouldn't have been. But you could go against it again if you wish. And I'll say it again. CREWE have had a battering, and they've gone out there tonight to not concede. That's what they've done. Not to score, just not to concede. And it's frustrating because they're marking us down and closing us down very, very quickly. And you've got skillful players there trying to go through 3 men at one time. That's my point. And I just think that give us one clear chance other than the 3 we've already had. One more. And the law of average says it's got to go in. And look at the time they're wasting, man. It's shocking. How bad can they be? Time wasting at home.
I love your law of averages. I think
that's
true,
mate.
Brilliant.
We could be sitting here with 3-0 already tonight. Everyone would be relaxed and happy, wouldn't they?
From the flip side of what you're saying is what Richard said on Saturday. Oh, hang on a second. Curtis is away, and it's a decently timed challenge. And it'll be another free kick from there. I was about to say Curtis broke away there, and he did really well. The challenge came in. Harness was frustrated with the fact that obviously Curtis has had the ball legally taken away from him, and now it's looking a little bit solemn on the board at the top of our screen with 87 minutes, and keep smiling at it. Yes, absolutely. The trim's keeping me going. Brian has said, I'm with you, Andrew. Stay positive. The team is giving it a go.
Thanks, Brian. Really appreciate it, mate.
you've got your supporters, Andrew.
No, it's not me, Tom. It's the team, innit? And we've got to give these boys a bit of credit. They're working their socks off, aren't they? Yeah, all right. It's frustrating, but they are working extremely well.
Oh,
just wide there from CREWE, ALEXANDRA.
And it needs no more further comment on that one. It was a decent strike, actually, from Owen Dale. It could have quite easily nestled in the corner of Craig McGilvery's net. And again, Raggett.
It is wide, to be fair.
It is well wide, but still. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to throw this one to you. Craig McGilvery? Sorry. Richard, who's probably the same height as Craig McGilvery, has said in the last couple of weeks, or said on Saturday, look at that. Anthony Burns put, Andrew agree, hashtag Andrew. There we go.
Cheers, Anthony.
Hashtag Andrew. Are you part of the hashtag Andrew club? Comment in the live chat down below. If you see the game as my esteemed colleague to my right and to my left to my right and to my right on the stream as well, because you're watching as mirrored. Anyway, more to the point, Richard said that
Hang on, it's just good offside flag there. We're in our own half. Oh, it's a foul, is it?
Yeah, I don't doubt it's an offside flag, because that doesn't really happen if you're in your own half.
Why did it get that? Was it a foul?
I think it might have been. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, more to the point, Richard said we could go on for days and days without scoring. And this actually...
Right, don't let Richard back in, Tom. He's too negative.
Well, to be honest, he didn't join us earlier on.
But then don't let him back in. If he's going to say stupid things like that.
I think, well, hang on a second. I'm just looking at the live chat. We've got Henry's a hashtag Andrew. Ash Day. Andrew, Adam said, let's make a 4-0 CREWE footy team. Rich in goal 100%. Sean, I reckon, is a fast, pacey left winger. And we'll get Andrew on the touchline.
I'll be a commentator, mate.
You can warm the bench for us. There we go. Andrew is a man who says how it is. Respect from Dean. There we go.
Thank you, Dean, my son.
And it's going to be 3 added minutes, and it is finished. Crucially, perhaps, in the race for the automatics, Wigan Athletic 2, Sunderland 1 at the DW Stadium. So
it could be worse, couldn't it?
Could be exactly. I mean, we could
get a point tonight. That's better than not getting any. And
that is very true.
Right. And CREWE have had a battering, and they're looking to defend this. They'll be delighted with 0-0. Absolutely delighted.
Mm.
And we'd be furious, and we're all furious. Well, why is that then?
I know I
right?
semi predicted the penalty, but it would be very disappointing if we went on to concede now. After
don't say things like that unless you know more than I
no,
know.
I don't know more than you do at all, and I haven't all evening. But the thing is, crikey, I'm trying to gesticulate here and make my point. But the thing is that if we concede, that is an awful lot of hard work that we've just thrown away massively, and now would be the sort of...
Or if we score, Tom, even better.
Glass half full, glass half empty, isn't it?
No,
from that. No, from you saying that, and I don't believe that we're going to concede. Cause I don't think we will. But touch wood, I should say as well. Hashtag in the glasses we trust. There we go. That's what we like to see. Thank you for that. I would. Oh, there we go. There's a comment that backs up Andrew's statement earlier from Edward saying Raggett is a walking own goal. Naylor definitely absent in the past few games. Curtis, MIA in the first half and this game, but isn't the first time. There we go. Thank you indeed for your comment, Edward. I think we sort of agree with your sentiments. Matty, I would love to predict us another penalty, but I honestly don't see it happening in the last minute and a half that we have to play. There is a man on the deck from a CREWE point of view. Perhaps they are just attempting to waste a little bit of time. Darren Drysdale, luckily, is a man that won't let the minutes slip. And even if it is in added time, he will be adding it on, I would hope, as most referees would do so. Callum Thompson said, Tom Naylor's been struggling from spring, neither summer nor winter anymore. Thank you for your comment, Callum. It is a nice comment from John, who said, keep the faith, lads. This is Pompey. Onwards, with several emojis to describe how he's feeling.
Good man.
And Sean has quite already said, and he sides with you on a rare occasion. He said it's a point that helps consolidate a playoff space, but 2 points dropped in truth. And perhaps we...
Is that retro again?
That is retro. You're not happy with him, are you?
Did he drive that battleship backwards?
I'm not sure. We'd have to ask him.
2 minutes 27 is on the clock. However, we have still got a couple of minutes left to play as we've been waiting for a moment to get this one back underway. And will it be a full-time 0-0, as we have seen in the past in this fixture between the two sides?
It's always difficult at Gresty Road, Tom. We've been there lots of times in the past, and I don't think we've ever come away winners. I can remember when we've been there. Maybe one season 2-1.
Just confer with my notes. CREWE, I can confirm to you that CREWE have only won one of their last 6 league games against Pompey, and Pompey are unbeaten in their last 3 league visits to Gresty Road. So that sort of subverts what you were saying slightly.
0-0
but
or 1-1 or something.
Yeah,
like
it's been a little bit strange, isn't it?
What was it? When was the last time we went there? They beat us 2-1, didn't they? I think.
Oh God, don't
No
say
way,
that.
wasn't
Don't
it?
just quote random score lines. We looked earlier on, but I think you could be right there actually. Oh, that's a horrible clash of heads there.
Was it 2-2?
That's a really nasty clash.
Was it 2-2?
It's a head injury that the referee's going to call them on for, and we are actually going to end up being deep into sort of.
It's our free kick as well, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it is actually. I think the referee's giving it to them oddly.
No, Harness has got it.
A bit of a bang in heads there, and Harness is holding the ball. Referee pointed actually the CREWE ALEXANDRA way when he gave the foul, and the linesman signalled towards Pompey. Now it is going to be a CREWE ALEXANDRA free kick, much to Marcus Harness's discontent, to be honest, because he's not going to be best pleased by that. He's still having a discussion with the referee. It's actually going to be a drop ball for the keeper, which is strange, isn't it? I think Darren Trotsdale's lost a little bit of control there, actually, because he initially gave the foul to CREWE. The linesman flagged for Pompey, and now it's going to be a drop ball for the keeper. I would be really irritated if he blows the full-time whistle after this, which he's not.
The keeper.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on there. That's
He was just going to boot
to be honest, it is a clash of heads that's gone like that, and you wouldn't really call it either way, would you? Header on from Naylor, back to Harvey White now. Last opportunity for CREWE ALEXANDRA moving forward, but it's back with Tom Naylor. Oh, my word. He's giving it to Anthony Evans. Ball goes in. Jack Watmore's there to header away. Oh, this is a nervy end to a game against CREWE.
That's all right.
Sorry, I'll sit back a little bit. Right, 5 of the... well, initially it was 3 indicated minutes. We're now into the 5th. And you would have thought, that Darren Drysdale is about to blow his whistle, and I can confirm he has done it. Finishes goalless at Gresty Road, full time. CREWE ALEXANDRA 0, Pompey 0. Andrew, we're still playing on our screen,
Yeah,
but
that's a good point, Tom. I'd say it's a good point, and I think another night we'd have scored 3 with those opportunities we had, and it's just they didn't go in for us, and they've cramped the style. Basically, they've stopped us playing, they've shut us down quickly, they've closed us down quickly, and they've had 3 men on any of our star players at the front, at the top end of the pitch. A point, Tom, away from home. If this was a jacket team, you'd taken that.
But it's not.
I know it's not, but it's only 6 games in. I think Harness is disappointed. The players are all disappointed. We're disappointed we haven't won away from home, and that's a great place to be. And we're all disappointed because we haven't won away from home. We haven't lost though, fellas. It's a point. It's more than 1 more point closer to Sunderland.
Let me bring Retro Shirt Sean into the conversation.
Please
because
I'm going to slap him when I see him.
Well, I wouldn't want to, mate. Given it,
you can't hit me from here, Tom. He's too far away.
You can hear.
He's still in his car, and if you need to shoot off at any point, just let me know.
I'm stuck here to 9:30, mate.
Oh right, okay. Well, you won't be shooting off then, will you? Yeah, I mean, you were sat there with a couple of the gents that were waiting to come into the stream at the end of the game. You joined us for the last sort of 20 minutes or so, and I saw your reaction to some of what Andrew was saying. For you, is that a point gained rather than 3 points dropped, or do I revert back to your previous comment when you said it is more like 3 points dropped?
2 points.
I think it's it reflects the Cowley optimism that we've got because we started so well. And CREWE have been on a run at bad form, and we're expecting to win convincingly. But all fans want us to go up automatically. Would have liked us to go automatically. Now we're definitely gone. Mathematically, we won't get enough points at the end of the season. But playoffs, it's a point where we consolidate our place in the playoff. And again, 5 games ago, if you told me we had a chance of staying in the playoffs, I'd have bitten your arm off. So I think it's that honeymoon high, low high, and it's just a matter of that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm just about to
just say, Tom, Ipswich lost tonight.
Well, they haven't lost yet.
Well,
77 minutes in, 2-0 down still. Yeah,
Wigan have beaten Sunderland, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
And
It's currently goalless between Lincoln and MK Dons. The same for Doncaster, Burton, Blackpool, Accrington is a 0-0. But these are all games just coming off their half-time whistles actually into their second period.
Apart from the final score, Sunderland.
Apart from the only one that's finished and the one that's nearing the end into the last sort of 10 minutes is the Wimbledon Ipswich game.
So we're 60% possession, 11 shots on goal, 5 on target, including the penalty, of course.
But the one that matters, Sean, is the goals tally, isn't it, at the top of the screen?
It's the goals tally, and I do wonder whether, we played Marquis today. He wasn't on form. You could see that the way he was kicking the ball and stuff. That penalty was an awful penalty. And you do wonder whether we played him when he wasn't fit, and should we have given Alfie a chance?
Do you feel like you can really blame Marquis overall for the reason why Pompey didn't take all 3 points? Yes, he's missed the penalty.
It's that horrible dilemma. He's a professional footballer. He wants to play every game, and he'll try and play when he's not fit. And that's it. He's probably got and a fit Marquis should have picked every day, any minute of the day. And he just obviously wasn't on form today. He did, looking at the play and listening to the commentary, he did do some good link up. There were opportunities, but he's not on the game. So it's one of those ones. If he'd have scored, we would have been singing his praises, but he didn't. So it's just one of those ones. I just wonder whether we should have saved him for the next game.
Let's take a look at the league table as it stands. We're going to lose Andrew momentarily, but some people will be pleased to see that. Here is the top position at the moment. Hull City are currently top of the league. And as I say, this is all as of about 30 seconds ago. So as goals go in, this may fluctuate, this may change. But this is where it stands at the moment. The teams in green are the teams that are playing right now. And then they're either winning, drawing or losing, as you can see indicated in the green. But as it stands, Pompey, it's a slightly dubious position, isn't it, Sean, in terms of you look all the way down. If I just remove the banner for a moment, you could even look all the way to sort of Gillingham, who are more than within with a shout with 18 games. Well, they've got 18 points, sorry, but they've got less than that. It'll be 15 for them. Charlton are dangerous. Ipswich, also, they've come off a 2-0 defeat. They'll be looking to get back to winning ways, particularly under the management system that we know well. Lincoln, obviously, they're a team that struggled because they fell behind a little bit from the pack. How do you analyse that table at the moment? And is it concerning for you?
It's concerning, but that's when we fall back on Andrew's point. It is a point where we've consolidated our position. They've got to win a game extra than us, and it helps it a bit better. Lincoln already got a game in hand, and Charlton as well. But the rest, it's sort of same same as us. They've got to win twice to get over us, and there's not many games left. So every point we pick up consolidates the playoff position, and that's a good thing. And we've just got to keep looking at our own games, getting those points. And like we keep saying always, we've got probably the best run in of all those teams. So,
and the only bad thing is that the 2 points dropped is that step away from automatics. But I think we're probably going to have a sort of, I don't know if I'm going to have to talk you round or whatever. But
Jamie Dodger truce, I think.
Well, I'll take the league table off so we can make that arrangement. Go on very quickly. So we've got to crack on.
I'll say 6 games left. The 2 teams above us are capable of losing 3 of those 6. We're capable of winning all 6 if they go in for us. Another night they would have gone in, and I'm saying it again, but we could have won that game 3-1 maybe tonight, maybe 4-1, depending on if those Raggett's first header. Shocking, wasn't it? Sean's son, who's in the swimming pool, could have nodded it in from there. It's one of those, isn't it? It's those chances have got to come. And I agree with you on Marcus. I wouldn't have started him tonight. To be honest, I would have dropped him probably earlier than recently, because even though when he got the red card, I don't think he hasn't been playing that well, has he?
Just to cut across you, sorry, but that table that we just looked at is now slightly outdated. Lincoln have taken the lead in their game.
So we dropped to 6 now.
Against MK Dons. So, it's not over yet, and that's only come on the 48th minute, but MK Dons perhaps with a mountain to climb.
I think mathematically, though, it's impossible for us to get automatics, even if, historically, 87 points is around about the second place you need to get it. We can't get that now.
Yes, it's still mathematically, but
mathematically, yeah,
it could happen. And I said 2 games ago I thought it would. Because to be honest with you, at that point I thought we'd have got 6 points more than we've got now, because of where these last 2 games. The one, sorry, 5 points more because we've got one tonight. But the loss and then the draw, I just felt that if we'd won those 2, which I really fancied us to win it with the way we were playing those 2 games, we'd have had 6 points. 5 points more than we've got now, which would have been 70.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's my automatic position I was talking about, right? So even though it's not not out of the equation yet, it's tougher. We just got there's other 2 teams they've got to play each other as well, a couple of them. So one of them's going to lose a game, isn't they? So there's 2 more games that one of them's got to lose. So it's still a chance, isn't it?
It's very slim. And like I said, the Swindon game, by then you'll know because enough games will be played. But mathematically, historically, it's a long shot.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is the opposite of everyone on Fauna written all over it after Jammy Dodgers. Very slim. Sean, if you're still around at the, we're going to chat to the gents. I'm aware you're going to be sat in your car for a while. So if you want to jump on right at the end of the show and just give us sort of, maybe if you're sticking around listening to what they're going to say, maybe your closing thought would be great. But for the time being, before we go to the rest of the gents, let's take a look and see what's still to come as the run-in continues here on Fauna written all over it. Right, so we've got plenty of games to go still. It's 6 left now. You can see 5 on your screen, and the 6th one's the next up. But MK Dons is an early kick-off to pay respects to His Royal Highness Prince Philip. We will get going from 11:15, 12:30 kickoffs. We've got plenty of build-up to that one. Tuesday, 20th of April. Join us back here next weekend. What am I talking about? Next week, this time, we'll kick off again from 6. Then Bristol Rovers make the short trip down to Fratton Park Saturday, 24th of April. That one kicks off at 1 o'clock. Join us from midday. Tuesday, 27th of April sees us make a trip up to Lancashire to play Accrington Stanley, who more than recently came off a bit of a thrashing from fellow promotion rivals Peterborough United. AFC Wimbledon is next up as well on the 1st of May. Then it's the big one. We've sort of predicted this before it was made official, didn't we? But 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday, the 9th of May. Join us for our coverage. An hour and a half of build-up for our end of season special here live on Fauna written all over it. At 10:30 is when we're going to get going. We'll speak to Gaz in just a moment. Andrew's going to leave us for now. No, he isn't. He's still there. Sean's still there as well. Good evening, we'll be back with Retro Shirt Sean at the end of the show. Thank you for holding on, and I'm looking forward to Gaz's stories from the Navy later on as well. Just to start on this one, if you will, Aaron, Matty White said the entire strike forces has to go. They cannot be given any more chances. They are proven failures. What a one to open on.
No, well, it is frustrating. It's very frustrating. Marquis, he's got a niggle, so he shouldn't have taken that penalty. Their goalkeeper could have dived one way, got up and dived and still saved the ball. That was how soft that penalty was. It was just ridiculous. But because they're still with that man who should not be named, his actual tactical side of things, that's still burning inside them. So it's going to take time for the Crowleys. But you're going to see what they've got to step up now. We should not have lost that game. Possession doesn't count for nothing. 11 shots and 5 on target. We should have won that. But they had a game plan. Just make sure that they don't score, close us down. Yeah, it was frustrating, very frustrating.
And just to build on what Aaron's been saying there, Mike, you were frustrated by the first half performance. I wonder if the second was a little bit better from your point of view.
Yeah, it was a little bit better. There was a change of formation. We got the wing backs going up a lot further than what they were, and Curtis was going more inside of the game on the pitch, and then the substitutes coming on, Whites and Byers.
Sorry, Lincoln are now 2-0 up against MK Dons, so that one looks a little bit dubious, doesn't it? Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, but I'd like to see Byers and White maybe start instead of Harness and Williams. We were looking at the stats just a minute ago for some of them, and I can't understand why they can't pass the ball properly. 40%, was it, or something?
Yeah,
What was
it? We had Marcus Harness, for example, today. I know we bang on about him quite a lot,
but it's justified.
Yeah, justified. Yeah, like his accurate passes. Yeah, 23 accurate passes today
out of 40.
Out of 40 odd.
40. So where's the other passes gone to?
Yeah, his pass success was 57%. So it's like, well, why can't we get the ball into people's feet and stuff? And I think we had another one as like today. Our best player, statistically wise, that went down as Tom Naylor. He got our man of the match today.
But if you watch the game, you wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah, to the eye, I don't think Naylor was our best player tonight. Personally, I don't think any of our players really stood out tremendously, really, for us.
So it was mildly better the second half.
Yeah,
it wasn't particularly brilliant.
No,
I think the penalty take was an absolute shocker for a so-called class striker who supposedly banged in God knows how many goals for Doncaster. That was terrible. It should have been Curtis. I think he would have been up for it.
Or even look, you could go back to Wembley. Raggett scored his penalty at Wembley.
Yeah.
You know, that'll a central defender stepping up to take a penalty against you. You know, a lot of teams would be like, oh, like when Greg Halford used to take him for penalty, didn't he? When he was our centre half.
Oh, there's a name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was playing centre forward for Southend last week. But echoing what Sean said slightly earlier, he said if Marcus Harness scored his penalty and scored the header from
Marquis.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, John Marquis. If Marquis scored the penalty and also scored his header from 2 yards out, which
we'd be singing
his praises,
and rightly so.
Definitely.
But he didn't. And the header, I think the wife couldn't have nodded that one in.
No.
I mean, that was so. Why straight into his arms? He must have known where the goal was.
Yeah, the whole goal to aim for.
You mean your wife or Gaz's ex-wife?
Doesn't matter. All of them. Could have all done it, Andrew. You could have done it, Andrew.
I think my missus, if she's 5 foot, could have headed that one in.
Hey, nothing wrong with us short fellas. Right, let's take a look at the league table. And gents, that's just been updated in the last couple of moments. I'll get Aaron's reaction to it in a moment too.
Going down again.
Yeah, exactly. And now Pompey's position in the playoffs looks a little bit, I mean, a win does it, doesn't it, after this evening's games, back into sort of that fourth position. But still, it's an example of what we were saying, as Sean was quite rightly saying, that it's an example of, yes, it's a point games and it consolidates the place. And I know we don't want to look elsewhere, Aaron, but if we're looking at that, we're thinking, well, teams elsewhere are gaining some ground on the fact that Pompey have dropped 2 tonight.
Yeah, but it's lucky that we did gain that point, because the only team below us at the moment with a game in hand is Charlton. So, but we've got a better goal difference than them, so we'd still be above them in the league. But luckily that we got that point. If we lost that today, we would have been out of the top 6 come the weekend if we lose again. But luckily we got that point, so that point is going to take it. And 9 times out of 10, I think, whoever finishes 6th in the league normally goes on and wins the playoffs.
Not if you're Pompey. We're particularly poor, aren't we? Brendan, where do we go from here now after what is a really disappointing evening? And it's a sort of a fixture that we've had a bit of previous with, isn't it? I don't know if you remember, but we watched it earlier on actually. But that game more than 4 years ago now, in the championship winning season, really. Sorry, champions of, it was a championship, was it? That was more than 12 years ago. When we were champions of League 2 that season, that was the pivotal moment where we all thought, right, this is season done now, isn't it? In terms of automatics. And then all of a sudden, look where we went on. And I don't know, there's less games now, but do you see this perhaps as maybe a bit of a sort of, come on, boys, it started really well, 4 out of 4, and then it's all sort of dropped off a cliff a little bit?
It definitely is. It could be a red herring, but then you think there's no one in that starting lineup who played today, really. It's a completely whole different team. But if we're going to go forward into Saturday to play when we're playing MK Dons, and as we remember last season, going to MK Dons isn't an easy place to go. We stood in the freezing cold in Milton Keynes last year. I think was it 5,000 fans went last year, and it was freezing. That's what I remember from it. I was sitting there, absolutely shaking.
But I mean, we've had a loss. We've now had a draw. We've got a point. Yeah. We have not lost 3 points. We've gained 1 point. I said at the beginning, or a couple of games ago, that we will draw some of these, and I said it again earlier today. We will draw some of these, but we need to make sure that we do win some of them. And yeah, maybe that should have been one that we should have really, really won. You can't really go on there Saturday. They're going to pick themselves up after their 6-0 defeat. So we've got to pick ourselves up, and we've started to do it. Loss, now draw, now we need a win.
Okay, just to add to that as well, you were mentioning, it's just got a little bit worse at Plough Lane. Wimbledon now 3-0 up against Ipswich Town. That is just coming through, and Ipswich down to 10 still. And also to add to what you're saying about MK Dons at the weekend, Brendan, they're now 3-0 down against Lincoln as well, who obviously not a good situation from Pompey's point of view, but perhaps, Aaron, that puts I know we saw a CREWE side at the weekend, lost 6-0, and look what happened tonight, but maybe that puts MK Dons on a back foot as another notorious place that Pompey struggled to get points from.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's different manager, different attitude. We just got to come out now. It's like with tonight, CREWE, they were fantastic. They closed us down very, very quickly. I don't think we're going to see the same sort of football on Saturday. I think the Cowleys are going to go absolute ballistic at the team now and say, look, we've got to do this. And he's got a few days to turn it around. But yeah, Saturday is a must-win game now. We cannot lose this game. Yeah, I can understand we're going to have another couple of draws, but on Saturday, we cannot afford to lose it. If we drop out of the playoffs, then it's going to be really, really hard to get back in.
Yeah, and I'd like to go on from there as well, saying if we're looking at MK Dons, I think we need to make some changes to this lineup. I think personally, I think we need to bring in Harvey and bring in George and get them in the starting lineup. And I think me and Dad said it earlier on in the season. Willow and Harness don't play well together. That they either play one or the other because they're both too similar of a player and they're getting each other's way. And I think you need one to push the other because they're both similar players, similar ages, I think, and similar, and obviously playing the same position. So when they're both playing together, they're a bit too comfortable in it. You know, there's no one. I don't think they see George Byers and Harvey White as a threat to their positions. And also MK Dons, their form going into Saturday. I know I'm stealing your role here, Tom, but saying if they lose tonight, they drew at the weekend with 0-0 with Ipswich, and then before that they lost to CREWE 2-0. So there's some results there which are good in our sense going into it, I think. But then at the same time, they're going to look at us saying that we haven't picked up, we haven't won our last 2 games. So it's a bit of psychology between the 2 teams. But as we've said before, we can't think about as a team Pompey. We shouldn't be thinking about the other team in the sense of what they're going to do to us. We need to play our game and
play better than we did tonight. And what we did play on Saturday.
Yeah, a lot better. We need to start playing better.
we thought maybe the central, was it Nicklasen?
Yeah, Nicklasen. Yeah.
That maybe for the last 15 minutes you should have put him up front instead of Marquis, because he's going to get on the end of the balls. He's going to hold up the balls. I don't know why we don't try things like that.
Yeah.
Gents, really interesting conversation. Thank you to all 3 of you for joining us here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. We obviously early kickoff on Saturday. We've got an MK Dons fan who's going to join us live as well, and these guys will be alongside us sometime between 11:15 and 12:30 before we get going. Thank you for the moment, gentlemen, and we'll speak to you on Saturday. Have a great week.
You too.
Take care.
We'll bring Andrew back into the conversation as we speak to Gaz, and we'll come back to Retro Shirt Sean for the final word before we leave you this evening and let you go and enjoy the Champions League or whatever or if you want to go and laugh at Ipswich, you're more than welcome to. Gaz, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us and sorry to keep you. Right. I wonder how you saw that one against CREWE. Is it for you 2 points lost or do you see it as a point gained?
Well, I mean, you can't. You got a penalty in the game, haven't you? You got a chance there, haven't you? It's not like it's a one-off. It's a couple of yards in front of the goal. You got a goal scorer, Marquis. It's the goalkeeper, isn't it? I mean, the goalkeeper was as soft as a wine gum. Do you know what I mean? It was pathetic, really. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like I say, you could have the goalkeeper just put your foot through it. It's 3 points we're desperate for. So it was disappointing. There was good play sometimes, there was good movement, but again, maybe a bit of tiredness. But we keep using the word tiredness. It's Tuesday, Saturday. But when can they recover? We're literally fighting for points now, and we have dropped 2 points today, I think. I mean, for sure.
It is all looking a little bit dubious, isn't it? I mean, we'll take a look at the table again, so you can talk us through your thoughts there. But at the moment, Pompey sort of clinging on to that playoff spot, aren't they? And at the moment, only 3 points. Oxford, gaining a little bit of ground, aren't they? And they're winning tonight.
Yeah. And they're scoring goals. You know what I mean? They played obviously loads at the weekend. They're winning tonight. And Charlton are on our tails. They've got Ipswich next. Ipswich are losing today at the moment 3-0. So Charlton are going to be right on our tails, and that's they get. They've got a game in hand. It's just disappointing. But what can we expect? You know what I mean? It was like, unfortunately for us, we've got that injuries. You know what I mean? And then obviously there's these last few games we've had players not playing in their positions where they should be. You know what I mean? So, to be honest, we haven't had the same team as before, like when we were top of the league at Christmas, So maybe next game, freshen up a little bit, like the boys said, because, Mark Harness and Williams, maybe they're getting a bit complacent about their position. So maybe give some fresh blood about, we need something. That's what the Cowleys have got to look at.
Well, let's deviate away from the football. And I take Andrew out for a moment and bring back Retro Shirt Sean when he's ready. Because Gaz, I'd love to hear the story from you. Actually, it's quite nice and fitting actually that it will be the funeral on Saturday that we'll all be watching after our game against MK Dons. But I believe you've got a tale or two to tell concerning His Royal Highness.
Yeah. Basically, I was in the Navy 23 years. And I was a chef. A young chef cooking for the royal family, so I was very honoured and privileged to spend some time with the royal family in Buckingham and also houses around London because the admiral that I was cooking for at the time, he had guests around and they were royalty, and there was always times when he would get invited to dinners and receptions, and obviously because I was his chef, he would go to the party and I would end up in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Because it was like part of the staff, So it's like, thanks for the invite. Here's an extra chef, So, but yeah, it was nice. It's a different world to what we live in, really. The royalties, it's all fine dining, and there's no money spared, shall we say? So. But it's obviously a shame that he's left us. But what a legacy he's left, and and it's just a shame that she's going to be on her own. But long may his memory live on.
Absolutely, and thank you for that lovely tribute, Gaz. We really appreciate it, and obviously we'll all be watching on Saturday, as I'm sure the nation and the world will. Sean, just a closing word, just to bring things back to football, if I may. The last time we were in this position against CREWE, things ended rather well, didn't they? Do you feel like we're in for the sort, not exactly mirrored, but the sort of roller coaster finale, as we now have a 6-game run to our final day, and then potentially 2 or even 3 games on from that? Big old question, but he's left himself on mute.
No, he's on the mute.
Do we still can't hear a word he's saying, even though his microphone's unmuted? What is going on here?
I'm not very good at reading words, but
we might still have him. We still haven't got him. Gaz, if we go to you on that question, are we in for a roller coaster ride?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and obviously the next 2 games are away, so we can't even rely on home. So that's what Pompey do. They play with our emotions season after season. It's never easy. That's why we love Pompey. I said that a few streams ago. We're gluttons for punishment. We keep coming back for more. So we'll support the boys. As we always do. But they just, if they could just get us out of this league, it'd be most appreciated.
Absolutely, and Sean, I'm sure you echo that. Just before we speak to you, I can confirm it's finished 3-0 to Wimbledon at Plough Lane against Ipswich. So that's a decent result from a Pompey point of view. Sean, just you have the final word before we hit the promos, and then we'll see you on Saturday. But is it going to be a blockbuster finale for you? And we still haven't got him, and that's.
No, it's not.
Right.
No, it's not.
We'll say goodbye. Have a wonderful week. See you shortly. And Gaz, thanks for joining us too. For now, though, that's it from us. As Andrew enjoys the last little bit of fruit, as he's just taken a mouthful, I was going to go. Oh, hang on, we've got one more little bit of input. Here we go.
He's writing one of his signs again.
Oh, cool. We're ready for it. We're all ready for it.
It's for Richard.
It's for Richard.
Where's the brownies? I don't know if Richard still joins us. Well, I haven't had a proper chance to read through, but I get the reference.
We've run out of jammy dodges, but go back and read our chat.
That'll be what I do as soon as we get off the stream. Thanks, gents. See you Saturday.
Cheers, Andy.
Still so much to look forward to here on Fournilwrittenalloverit over at MK Dons, as we were just saying there, next Saturday. Well, this Saturday, join us from 11:15. It's a 12:30 kickoff before the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral, Tuesday the 20th of April. Back here in just a week's time here for the Swindon Town away game. Hopefully it can be a more successful Tuesday night than it has been in the last couple of weeks. This last week, in fact. Portsmouth versus Bristol Rovers is next up on Saturday, 24th of April. It's 1 o'clock kickoff. Join us from midday. Accrington Stanley is then following that one, Tuesday, 27th of April. That one's still a 7 o'clock kickoff as it stands. Join us an hour before from 6. And then the last Saturday game of the season will be AFC. Well, maybe the playoff second leg might be played on the Saturday, but the AFC Wimbledon game on Saturday, the 1st of May. The following Sunday is a Super Sunday here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. Join us live here from 10:30 for an hour and a half of build-up as we look back to the season that we have had here live on Fournilwrittenalloverit all season. That is the end of season special, which we're very much looking forward to delivering to you here live on the show. Any closing words from yourself, Andrew, from tonight? Not very many.
Not many, Tom, apart from it's been, as usual, good banter with the boys, good fun. Everyone's enjoyed it again. A 0-0 draw makes it exciting to be amongst good lads like this and to chat and giggle and make fun of it, isn't it? So it's a lot better than it's been, Tom. If you said to me 6 games ago, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, I'd have taken that. So I'm going to say we're going to win the next 6 games and others are going to drop points. And we're going to be very, very close, if not in them automatic still. I still believe it. Still believe it, Tom.
He still believes it.
Well, keep still believing, haven't you?
Proof will be in the pudding over the next 6 games. We look forward to bringing you them here live on Fournilwrittenalloverit. See you on Saturday. Have a great week and bye from us for now.